Chapter 2669. Sir, I merely informed the county governor of Nine Spectres County about the death of Lu Qian, the inner court elder of the county governor's estate. I don't think I'm interfering in the matter between you and the Lu clan, right? A hint of fear flashed in Pang Bing's eyes when he saw Duan Lingtian looking at him coldly. In any case, Elder Pang Bing, ask the Pang clan to prepare 100,000 prominent celestial stones for me within 3 days. Duan Lingtian said indifferently. Based on his words, he was certain Pang Bing had interfered in the matter between him and the Lu clan. Therefore, he asked the Pang clan to prepare 100,000 prominent celestial stones within 3 days. 100,000 prominent celestial stones within 3 days? Pang Bing's expression darkened when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. He said in a deep voice, "What a big appetite you have. What if the Pang clan refuses to give you the celestial stones? What are you going to do about it?" "Then I'll have to go and get them myself." Duan Lingtian continued to speak indifferently as though he was talking about something insignificant. Pang Bing snorted coldly. Then he looked into the distance and said coldly, "If you want 100,000 prominent celestial stones from the Pang clan, you'll have to make it out alive today." At this moment, Pang Bing could clearly sense a powerful aura coming from the direction of the county governor's estate. Moreover, the aura was so fast that it was terrifying. Even he was not as fast as the aura. He knew the county governor of Nine Spectres County was here. Although he knew he was not as strong as the purple-clad young man, he could tell the purple-clad young man was only an ordinary person. Although the purple-clad young man's strength was close to that of a great overarching golden celestial, he was not as strong as a great overarching golden celestial. Great overarching golden celestials were also divided into different grades and ranks. Among them, yellow rank great overarching golden celestials were the weakest. The county governor of Nine Spectres County was a profound rank great overarching golden celestial who was even stronger than a yellow rank great overarching golden celestial. Moreover, he was very close to breaking through to the earth rank great overarching golden celestial. He was one of the strongest among those below the earth rank great overarching golden celestial. Therefore, in Pang Bing's opinion, so long as the county governor of the county governor's manor arrived, this purple-clothed youth before them would not be able to cause any more trouble. There's no need for Elder Pang Bing to worry about that. Duan Lingtian glanced in the direction of the prefectural governor's manor as he replied to Pang Bing. He had also sensed a powerful and familiar aura. "County governor!" The group of people from the Lu clan, including the clan leader, Lu Dongping, stared in the direction of the county governor's mansion with a respectful expression on their faces. They were waiting for the arrival of the county governor of Nine Spectres County. A moment later, a gust of wind blew past, causing the robes of the people in the Lu family's main hall to flutter. As the wind blew, a figure appeared before everyone's eyes. This figure that seemed to appear out of thin air was a tall middle-aged man wearing a silver robe embroidered with a silver dragon. He had a square face, thick eyebrows, and big eyes. Waves of majestic aura were emitted from his body. He was obviously a person who had been in a high position for a long time. "County governor! County governor!" As soon as the person appeared, everyone from the Lu clan bowed respectfully in the air above the main hall. Even Pang Bing bowed slightly at this moment. "County governor!" While everyone was bowing, Duan Lingtian's gaze landed on the middle-aged man. He smiled faintly at him and greeted him indifferently. Duan Lingtian looked as though he was greeting an acquaintance. "He knows the county governor?" Pang Bing's expression changed slightly when he saw the way Duan Lingtian greeted the county governor. He had a bad feeling about this. At the same time, the group of people from the Lu clan, including Lu Dongping and Lu Zwilin, also noticed the way Duan Lingtian greeted the county governor of Nine Spectres County. Their expressions changed immediately. They could tell the middle-aged man was wearing a purple robe. It seemed like the purple-clad young man knew the county governor of Nine Spectres County. Moreover, based on the way the purple-clad young man greeted the county governor of Nine Spectres County, it seemed like they were quite close. How's this possible? How could he know the county governor? Impossible. It's impossible. Lu Zuolin shook his head. Although he didn't want to believe it, the hope in his eyes dimmed significantly at this moment. Initially, he thought he would be able to escape when he saw the county governor of 9 Spectres County. However, it seemed like that was not the case. County governor! Lu Zuolin's mother, Pang Yuan from the Pang clan, immediately stepped forward and pointed at Duan Lingtian as she said indignantly, "He's the one who killed Elder Lu Qian." Elder Lu Qian was an inner estate elder of the county governor's estate. His killing of Elder Lu Qian is equivalent to declaring war on the county governor's estate. County governor, you must avenge Elder Lu Qian. You can't let him do whatever he wants. Pang Yuan said hurriedly. She pretended to be sad and indignant. When Duan Lingtian greeted Tian Jiyu, the county governor of 9 Spectres County, Tian Jiyu had noticed him. Just as he was about to return the greeting, Pang Yuan beat him to it and said it was Duan Lingtian who had killed Lu Qian, an inner estate elder of the county governor's estate. Duan Lingtian had killed Lu Qian? What a joke! If Duan Lingtian was capable of killing Lu Qian, he could easily win first place in the martial competition of the 16 counties held by King Qin's mansion and obtain 3 mediocre celestial pills, the great overarching pills, for the 9 Spectres County. Ridiculous! As soon as Pang Yuan finished speaking, Tian Jiyu glared at her and said coldly, Duan Lingtian isn't even 100 years old yet. Do you think he's capable of killing Elder Lu Qian, a Violet Sun Golden Celestial? Do you think I, Tian Jiyu, am a fool? When Tian Jiyu reached the end of his sentence, his gaze turned cold as he looked at Pang Yuan. Pang Yuan felt as though she had fallen into an ice cellar. She was so frightened that her face turned pale and her body began to tremble violently. As soon as Tian Jiyu finished speaking, the entire place fell into dead silence. Duan Lingtian? Not even 100 years old? The name Duan Lingtian was familiar to everyone present. Duan Lingtian came from Bloody Spectre City, one of the 9 cities in 9 Spectres County. 2 years ago, when he had just arrived in the county city of 9 Spectres County, he had severely injured Zhou Fei, the strongest person under the age of 100 in 9 Spectres County, in the latent dragon abyss in the county governor's estate. After that battle, Duan Lingtian became the focus of Zhou Fei's attention. Duan Lingtian became famous after that battle and became the most popular young powerhouse in 9 Spectres County. Lord County Governor. Are you sure? He's Duan Lingtian? Pang Bing asked as he looked at Tian Jiyu in disbelief. For a moment, he even forgot to sense the aura emanating from Duan Lingtian's body. If he tried, he would be able to determine Duan Lingtian's age based on the aura of Duan Lingtian's body. Of course, there's no mistake. Tian Jiyu replied indifferently. Tian Jiyu could not help but frown as he asked, Elder Pang Bing, why are you here? You're unharmed, but Elder Lu Qian is dead. What's going on? Tian Jiyu's expression darkened when he finished asking the question. He's not even 100 years old. Heavens! I didn't sense his aura earlier, but now that I think about it, he's really not even 100 years old. Is he really Duan Lingtian, the most popular young powerhouse in 9 Spectres County in the past 2 years? If he's really Duan Lingtian, isn't Duan Lingtian too terrifying? He's not even 100 years old, but he's stronger than Elder Pang Bing, the strongest person below Great Overarching Golden Celestial in 9 Spectres County. Earlier, Elder Pang Bing also admitted that he's not as strong as Duan Lingtian. Just as Tian Jiyu was questioning Pang Bing and his face darkened, the exclamations of the elders from the Lu clan entered his ears. He was completely dumbstruck as he stood rooted to the ground. Did these people just say that Elder Pang Bing was not as strong as Duan Lingtian? How's this possible? In 9 Spectres County, Elder Pang Bing is only weaker than me and Zhou Tong, the first revered elder of the county governor's estate who passed away not long ago. He's also widely acknowledged as the strongest person below Great Overarching Golden Celestial in 9 Spectres County. He's not as strong as Duan Lingtian? Tian Jiyu couldn't believe it. He looked at Pang Bing, his eyes flashing with uncertainty. Pang Bing knew what was on Tian Jiyu's mind when he saw the look in Tian Jiyu's eyes. He nodded bitterly. Lord County Governor, it's true that I'm not as strong as Duan Lingtian. Earlier, Pang Bing had purposely sensed Duan Lingtian's aura and confirmed that Duan Lingtian was not even 100 years old. He had also confirmed Duan Lingtian's identity. For a moment, his heart was in turmoil. How could a person who was not even 100 years old be stronger than him? Does this mean Elder Lu Qian was killed by Duan Lingtian? Tian Jiyu asked as his eyes glinted. Pang Bing nodded before he added, I can't prove this by myself. However, everyone here can testify to this. Tian Jiyu's eyes immediately shifted to Duan Lingtian when he heard Duan Lingtian's question. He smiled faintly and asked Duan Lingtian in a friendly manner, Duan Lingtian, did you kill Elder Lu Qian? Since he had already killed Elder Lu Qian, there was no way Duan Lingtian would deny it. Chapter 2670. Hearing Duan Lingtian admit it himself, even if Tian Jiyu didn't dare to believe it, he had to believe it. Good, very good. Under everyone's gaze, the smile on Tian Jiyu's face only froze for a moment, then it bloomed again and became even brighter. At the same time, it could be heard that Tian Jiyu's tone was full of excitement now, and there was no trace of anger at all. It was just like how Lu Qian's death was not worth mentioning compared to the fact that Duan Lingtian's strength was close to that of a Daluo Golden Immortal. In fact, in Tian Jiyu's heart, compared to the fact that Duan Lingtian's strength was close to that of the Almighty Immortal, Lu Qian's death was indeed not worth mentioning. After all, to him, Duan Lingtian's strength was almost on par with a Daluo Golden Celestial, which meant that it was almost certain that Duan Lingtian would win first place in the martial competition of the 16 counties. If Duan Lingtian won first place in the martial competition of the 16 counties, 9 Spectres County would get 3 mediocre-grade celestial pills, the Great Overarching Pills. 3 Great Overarching Pills were enough to create 3 Great Overarching Golden Immortals. Compared to the 3 Daluo Golden Celestials, Lu Qian, a mere Violet Sun Golden Celestial, was not even worth mentioning. County Governor. When Lu Zuolin's mother, Pang Yuan, saw that Tian Jiyu did not intend to hold Duan Lingtian accountable for Lu Qian's death, she panicked and hastily said, Elder Lu Qian might not have contributed much to the county governor's estate in the past, but he did put in a lot of effort. Now that he's been killed, you must seek justice for him, Lord County Governor. Pang Yuan said as she knelt down in front of Tian Jiyu in the void. In fact, she was not doing this for Lu Qian. She did it for her son, Lu Zuolin. If Duan Lingtian came out unscathed today, her son Lu Zuolin would most likely be dead. Now, even the group of people from the Lu clan led by the Lu clan's patriarch, Lu Dongping, had faintly realized that today's matter was already a foregone conclusion. Although their expressions were unsightly, they didn't say anything because they knew that it was useless no matter what they said. To the county governor of 9 Spectres County, Duan Lingtian was going to participate in the martial competition of the 16 counties that would soon be held in King Qin's mansion. With Duan Lingtian's current strength, it would be a piece of cake for him to win the competitions too. If Duan Lingtian won first place in the martial competition of the 16 counties, the 9 Spectres County would receive 3 mediocre celestial pills, the Great Overarching Pills, that could help one become a Great Overarching Golden Celestial. As if they were the county governors of 9 Spectres County, they would not vent their anger on Duan Lingtian because of Lu Qian. Pang Bing could not help but feel anxious when he saw that Pang Yuan was still doing useless things even though he knew that she loved her son dearly. He was deeply afraid that Pang Yuan's actions would enrage the prefectural governor of the prefectural governor's manor. Tian Jiu snorted coldly as he glanced at Pang Yuan who was kneeling down. I believe in Duan Lingtian. Since he killed Elder Lu Qian deserved to die. I believe he won't kill the innocent. Tian Jiu's words expressed his unconditional support for Duan Lingtian. As for what had happened, he didn't care. Even if Duan Lingtian was powerless and killed Lu Qian for no reason, he could only turn a blind eye to it. Pang Yuan's face turned ashen when she heard Tian Jiu's words. Duan Lingnan, will you return with me? Tian Jiu asked with a smile as he looked at Duan Lingtian. Based on his words, it was clear he intended to return to the county governor's estate as well. When he arrived, he was extremely furious because of the death of his county governor's estate's inner estate elder, Lu Qian. When he learned that Lu Qian had been killed by Duan Lingtian, he was no longer angry. Instead, he was happy that Duan Lingtian had the ability to kill Lu Qian. At the same time, he valued Duan Lingtian even more. Previously, he only thought Duan Lingtian had a chance of entering the top 3 in the martial competition of the 16 counties. However, at this moment, he was certain Duan Lingtian would be able to obtain the honor of being the first in the martial competition of the 16 counties. County Governor, you can return first. I still have some matters to settle with the Lu clan. Duan Lingtian said to Tianjiu. All right. Tianjiu nodded. In that case, come and look for me when you return to the county governor's estate. I'll wait for you in the main hall. All right. Duan Lingtian replied. Tianjiu glanced at the Lu clan before he turned around and returned to the county governor's estate. After Tianjiu left. As expected, Duan Lingtian once again became the center of attention in the surroundings. When most of the people's attention was on Duan Lingtian, an explosion sounded. The old man, the supreme elder of the Lu clan, had appeared in front of Lu Zuolin in a flash. Bang! Before Lu Zuolin could react, the old man struck out with his palm. The terrifying energy was like a flood that drowned Lu Zuolin. Blood splattered in the air, leaving behind a spatial ring that fell from the sky. Lu Zuolin was dead. Pang Yuan only regained her senses when Lu Zuolin was killed. Her expression changed drastically as she glared at the Supreme Elder. You killed my son. I'll kill you. I'll kill you. Uncle. Pang Yuan immediately looked at Pang Bing and pleaded, I beg you, kill him. Uncle, I beg you to kill him and avenge my Lin. Pang Bing sighed but did not do anything. He could understand why the Supreme Elder of the Lu clan did this. If he was in Lu Zuolin's shoes, he would have done the same. Are you done? Lu Dongping, the clan leader of the Lu clan, glared at Pang Yuan and said coldly, if you didn't spoil Lin, or since he was young, he wouldn't have ended up like this. I couldn't bear to kill Lin, or so I sent a voice transmission to the Supreme Elder to kill him. It's you? Pang Yuan looked at Lu Dongping, her husband, in disbelief. As the saying went, even a vicious tiger would not eat its own cubs. She did not expect her husband would do such a thing. In the end, Pang Yuan was so angry that she fainted. Fortunately, Pang Bing caught her and prevented her from falling to the ground. Duan Lingtian, the Lu clan admits defeat. Lu Dongping looked at Duan Lingtian bitterly and said, the 100,000 prominent celestial stones will be sent to the county governor's estate within 3 days. Thank you, clan leader Lu. Duan Lingtian said as he glanced at Lu Pingdong indifferently. He was not surprised by the Lu clan's decision. At this moment, if the Lu clan continued to be stubborn, they would only be digging their own grave. After all, even the county governor and the county governor of 9 Spectres County had expressed their unconditional support for him. Duan Lingtian did not feel sorry for Lu Zuolin's death at all. If it were not for his strength, he would have been killed by Lu Zuolin's subordinate when he left the medicinal herb store. He would not have survived until now. In his opinion, Lu Zuolin was furious. Lu Zuolin had only himself to blame for his death. Since the Lu clan had chosen to protect Lu Zuolin, they had to pay the price. Lu Qian deserved to die for attacking him. As for the other members of the Lu clan, he did not plan to touch them. However, the Lu clan would have to pay the price. 100,000 prominent celestial stones. Elder Pang Bing, why are you in such a hurry to leave? Our matter isn't settled yet, right? Duan Lingtian looked at Pang Bing, who was preparing to leave with the unconscious Pang Yuan. His eyes flashed as he smiled faintly. Duan Lingtian. Pang Bing stopped moving and turned to look at Duan Lingtian. His eyes gleamed as he said, I admit defeat today. However, the Pang clan can't afford 100,000 prominent celestial stones. At most, I'll give you 10,000 prominent celestial stones. Elder Pang Bing, you're still trying to bargain at this moment? Duan Lingtian smiled. Then, his eyes flashed coldly as he said, 200,000 prominent celestial stones. If the Pang clan can't come up with 200,000 prominent celestial stones within 3 days, I'll have to ask Elder Pang Bing for advice and personally go to the Pang clan to collect the stones. Pang Bing's expression changed drastically. Pang Bing's expression changed greatly. He never expected that his casual bargaining would result in such an ending. Elder Pang Bing, you should have seen the county governor's attitude earlier. Even if I kill you, he won't blame me. Duan Lingtian said indifferently. Although his tone was calm, there was no lack of threat in it. The county governor is still waiting for me. I'll take my leave first. After he finished speaking, Duan Lingtian looked at Pang Bing deeply before he turned around and left. After Duan Lingtian left, the members of the Lu clan, led by Lu Dongping, sighed in relief. Fortunately, they did not bargain with Duan Lingtian. Otherwise, he might have asked them to hand over 200,000 prominent celestial stones as well. Many of the Lu clan's elders looked at Pang Bing with a hint of pity in their eyes. 200,000 prominent celestial stones. Even the Lu clan would suffer great losses if they were to hand over that much money. Let alone the Pang clan that was slightly weaker than the Lu clan. Lu Dongping. Pang Bing did not leave after Duan Lingtian left. He turned around and looked at Lu Dongping as he said in a deep voice, I'm here today because of the Lu clan. The Lu clan has to pay half of the 200,000 prominent celestial stones. As soon as Pang Bing finished speaking, he left with the unconscious Pang Yuan in just a blink of an eye. In the sky above the Black Dragon Army's camp in Bloody Spectre City, a former captain of the Black Dragon Army died in the little world left behind by the Celestial King from the Blissful Sect. Later on, someone brought his identity token back from the little world and became the new captain of the Black Dragon Army. An old woman with a head full of white hair, wearing a plain robe, and a withered face stood in the air. As she muttered to herself, her turbid eyes suddenly lit up. If I'm not mistaken, he's the one who came out of the little world with Miss Bing. He's the one who took Miss Bing's virginity. Chapter 2671. In the county city of Nine Spectres County, the county governor's estate. Tian Jiyu, the county governor of Nine Spectres County, sat in the main hall as though he was waiting for someone. Suddenly, he rose to his feet as though he had sensed someone's presence. County Governor! A voice rang from outside the main hall. A bright smile appeared on Tian Jiyu's face as he walked out of the main hall in a flash. He looked at the purple-clad young man standing outside the main hall and asked, Duan Lington, is everything settled? Is there anything I can help you with? Thank you for your concern, County Governor. The purple-clad young man standing outside the county governor's estate's audience hall was none other than Duan Lingtian, who had just returned from the Lu clan. When he heard what Tian Jiyu said, he lightly smiled and said, with the county governor backing me up, they were very cooperative. Before he left the Lu clan, he had given Pang Bing a ridiculous price for 200,000 prominent celestial stones that the Pang clan would not be able to provide. However, he believed Pang Bing was a smart person and would definitely gather 200,000 prominent celestial stones for him. This was because the county governor of Nine Spectres County was on his side. It was not difficult for him to guess why the county governor of Nine Spectres County was on his side. The county governor must have thought Duan Lingtian would be able to obtain 3 mediocre celestial pills, the great overarching pills, for the county governor of Nine Spectres County. On one side was 3 mediocre celestial pills, and on the other side was an inner court elder who was still a peak golden celestial. Although he was the county governor of Nine Spectres County, he knew what was more important. That's good. Tian Jiyu nodded and led Duan Lingtian into the main hall. Let's talk inside. After entering the main hall, Tian Jiyu did not return to his seat. Instead, he sat beside Duan Lingtian. His expression was grave when he sat down with Duan Linggen. Duan Linggen, I'm afraid you won't be able to stay in the county governor's estate from now on. Tian Jiyu sighed. I understand. Duan Lingtian nodded. You understand? Tian Jiyu was startled. He had only thought of this after he returned. But now, Duan Lingtian actually said that he understood? Facing Tian Jiyu's puzzled gaze, Duan Lingtian said, From today onwards, the news that I, Duan Lingtian, possess strength close to that of a great overarching golden celestial will spread throughout the county city and even the entire Nine Specters County. County Governor, as the County Governor of Nine Specters County, you can't just order them to keep their mouths shut. After all, there's no restriction in the Devata realms like the lightning penalty oath in the mundane realms. Even if you warn those in the know, they can still spread the news in secret. Duan Ling Tian paused for a moment when he spoke up to hear. Tian Jiu nodded. This was indeed the case. Duan Ling Tian continued to say, once this news spreads to the Nine Specters County, it'll spread to the other 15 counties as well. Once the other 15 counties learn that there's a golden celestial below the age of 100 in Nine Specters County, they'll definitely make a move on me before the martial competition of the 16 counties begins. At that time, the powerhouses from the other counties might not personally make a move, but they'll definitely pay a hefty price to hire a powerhouse from the outside to kill me. As long as they're willing to pay, they'll be able to hire a powerhouse who's stronger than you, right? Duan Lingtian asked as he looked at Tian Jiu. Tian Jiu did not expect Duan Lingtian to be so thorough. He nodded in response to Duan Lingtian's question. As long as they're willing to pay a hefty price, it won't be difficult for them to hire a powerhouse who's stronger than me. To them, you're practically guaranteed to be the champion of the martial competition of the 16 counties in King Qin's mansion. That's something they don't want to see. In order to make you disappear, they might even join forces and pay a hefty price to hire a powerhouse who's more powerful than me to kill you. If they hire a powerhouse who's weaker than me, it's no different from not hiring a powerhouse at all. Under such circumstances, with me in the county governor's estate, no one will be able to hurt you, let alone kill you. Tian Jiu said. I've thought of all these. Duan Ling Tian nodded. That's why I plan to leave. When do you plan to leave? Tian Jiu asked. Of course, the sooner the better. However, if I'm not mistaken, it should be in 3 days. After all, I still have 2 debts to settle in the next 3 days. Duan Ling Tian said. 2 debts? Tian Jiu was taken aback. Although Tian Jiu was the county governor of Nine Specters County, he could not help but feel his lips twitch when he heard Duan Ling Tian's words. Duan Ling Tian's words made Tian Jiu speechless. You're really ruthless. 100,000 prominent celestial stones might not be enough to break the Lu clan's bones, but they'll have to sell off some of their properties to raise the amount in a short time. 200,000 prominent celestial stones. I'm afraid the Pang clan won't be able to afford it. Tian Jiu said. The Pang clan won't be able to afford it. However, I believe Elder Pang Bing is a wise man. He'll ask the Lu clan to share the burden with the Pang clan. Duan Lingtian said indifferently, with the Lu clan's wealth, it won't be difficult for them to come up with another 100,000 prominent celestial stones. 200,000 prominent celestial stones. Even the Lu clan will have to sell off a lot of their properties and break their bones. Tian Jiu sighed. Initially, I plan to give you some celestial stones after you leave. However, it seems like there's no need for that now. With 300,000 prominent celestial stones, you won't be short of celestial stones for the time being. However, don't forget about the martial competition of the 16 counties in King Qin's mansion. Tian Jiu's expression suddenly turned solemn as he looked at Duan Lingtian and said, I'll help you register for the martial competition of the 16 counties. All you have to do is show up when the competition begins. At that time, even if the people from the other 15 counties want to kill you, they won't dare to act recklessly with the people from King Qin's mansion around. That's what I think as well. Duan Lingtian nodded. After a while, Duan Lingtian bade farewell to Tian Jiu and left. Before he left, he still had many things to do. The first thing he wanted to do was to refine the primitive celestial pill, the spirit-nourishing pill. Currently, he already had a lot of medicinal ingredients for the spirit-nourishing pill. Since Lu Qing, the supreme elder of the Lu clan, was the primitive celestial alchemist of the Lu clan, he must have a cauldron in his spatial ring. After returning to his stone chamber in the latent dragon abyss, Duan Lingtian took out another spatial ring from his spatial ring. It was none other than Lu Qing's spatial ring that he had casually taken after killing him. As expected, there's a cauldron. After claiming ownership of Lu Qing's spatial ring, Duan Lingtian easily found the cauldron in the spatial ring. Apart from that, there were also some medicinal ingredients and a few pill formulas in the spatial ring. As for the pile of celestial stones, Duan Lingtian did not even bother to look at them. Although there were many celestial stones in Lu Qing's spatial ring, it was still not enough. Compared to the 300,000 prominent celestial stones he was about to obtain from the Lu clan and the Pang clan, these celestial stones were insignificant. These pill formulas are all for primitive celestial pills. These are the pill formulas for the primitive celestial pill, the hidden spirit pill. Among the pill formulas in Lu Qing's spatial ring, the only one that caught Duan Lingtian's attention was the pill formula for the primitive celestial pill, the hidden spirit pill. Previously, the county governor of 9 Spectres County had given him a bottle of hidden spirit pills. It had allowed his cultivation base to improve by leaps and bounds in just 1.5 years, allowing him to break through and become a yellow sun golden celestial. When he became a yellow sun golden celestial, he had used up all the hidden spirit pills he had. It's no wonder the hidden spirit pill is so rare. As it turns out, apart from the rare medicinal herbs required for the hidden spirit pill, the celestial alchemist's alchemy skills are also very high. Due to this, the success rate is extremely low. After reading the pill formula for the hidden spirit pill, Duan Lingtian finally understood why the hidden spirit pill was so rare. He wondered why the hidden spirit pill was so much rarer than the spirit containment pill. I should try to refine the spirit containment pill first. I wonder if I can refine pills or celestial artifacts with the gray flames I extracted from the incomplete piece of metal. Duan Lingtian took a deep breath before he activated the celestial fire technique to mobilize the gray flame in the defective metal piece. However, just like before, he could only extract a small portion of the gray flame from the defective metal piece. Let's give it a try. At the same time, Duan Lingtian placed the cauldron on the table and took out a set of medicinal ingredients to refine the spirit containment pill. Then, he began to refine the spirit containment pill with the gray flame that he controlled. The first time, the medicinal ingredients were burned to ashes as soon as they came into contact with the gray flame that Duan Lingtian controlled. It's useless. Duan Lingtian smiled wryly. He knew it was because he had not refined pills for a long time and did not have sufficient control over the flame. However, this small portion of the gray flame is indeed powerful. At the very least, it's not inferior to the primitive celestial fires recorded in the memory celestial talismans. After realizing this, Duan Lingtian began to feel more confident. Therefore, he began to refine the spirit containment pill for the second time. During his second attempt, Duan Lingtian slightly controlled the flame. However, the medicinal ingredients only lasted for a short while before they were burned to ashes. Again. Following that, Duan Lingtian tried for the third time, the fourth time, and the fifth time. The medicinal ingredients used to refine the primitive celestial pill, the spirit containment pill, were burned to ashes one after another. Fortunately, no one else was around. Otherwise, they would feel sorry for Duan Lingtian and feel that he was being wasteful. Finally, on his 13th attempt, Duan Lingtian successfully melted the medicinal ingredients into a liquid with the gray flame. Then he placed the liquid into the cauldron and proceeded to the next step. Initially, this step was quite successful. However, when Duan Lingtian was about to condense the pill, the cauldron suddenly shook violently. Chapter 2672. For an entire day and night, Duan Lingtian was immersed in his seemingly endless pill refinement. To him, the medicinal herbs required to refine the primitive celestial pill, the spirit-nourishing pill, were free. He could squander them as he pleased. He was using gold and silver to familiarize himself with the method of refining celestial pills. Although Duan Lingtian had the Rebirth Martial Emperor's alchemy skills and experience in the mundane realm's mortal continent, he could only rely on his alchemy experience in the Devata realms. As for the method of refining pills in the Devata realms, it was different from the method of refining pills in the Devata realms. Although there were differences, it was still the same. As long as Duan Lingtian spent some time and wasted some medicinal herbs, He would be able to master the method of refining pills in the Devata realms. In the lowest cultivation stone room in the latent dragon abyss, Duan Lingtian was so focused on refining the primitive celestial pill, the spirit-nourishing pill. Meanwhile, in the latent dragon abyss, a commotion broke out as soon as someone spoke. Hey, did you hear? Yesterday, Duan Lingtian went to the Lu clan and killed Lu Qing, the supreme elder of the Lu clan. As soon as the news spread, the entire latent dragon abyss became lively. There were many people who were cultivating in their stone chambers but were not in closed-door cultivation. Those who heard this also left their stone chambers and came out to join in the fun. Supreme Elder of the Lu clan? Lu Qing? As far as I know, there are 3 Supreme Elders in the Lu clan. One of them is an inner court elder in the county governor's estate. As for the remaining 2 Supreme Elders, one of them is a primitive celestial alchemist. I've also heard that there's a primitive celestial alchemist in the Lu clan. He's one of the only 3 primitive celestial alchemists in the 9 Spectres County. I think I've heard that the primitive celestial alchemist in the Lu clan is called Lu Qing. What? You mean Duan Lingtian went to the Lu clan and killed the primitive celestial alchemist in the Lu clan yesterday? How is this possible? After all, once a primitive celestial alchemist detonates his celestial fire, even an ordinary great overarching golden celestial wouldn't be able to escape death. Exactly. For this reason, even a great overarching golden celestial wouldn't recklessly attack a primitive celestial alchemist. Once a primitive celestial alchemist risks his life, he'll act like a madman and ignite the celestial fire in his body. There was an uproar in the latent dragon abyss. Everyone was doubtful that Duan Lingtian had killed the primitive celestial alchemist from the Lu clan. If that's the case, why don't you think about it? If the primitive celestial alchemist detonated the celestial fire in the Lu clan's estate, wouldn't the entire Lu clan be razed to the ground? At that time, how many Lu family members will die? That seems to be the case. Even if he doesn't detonate the celestial fire, Lu Qing, the supreme elder of the Lu clan, should be quite strong, right? Indeed, he's quite strong. It's said that although he's not as strong as the other 2 supreme elders of the Lu clan, he's still stronger than the current clan leader of the Lu clan. He's one of the best among the Indigo Sun Golden Celestials. He's only half a step away from becoming a Violet Sun Golden Celestial. An Indigo Sun Golden Celestial, one of the best among the Indigo Sun Golden Celestials, was killed by Duan Lingtian? Is this a joke? Many people were skeptical when they learned that the supreme elder of the Lu clan, a primitive celestial alchemist, was an Indigo Sun Golden Celestial. Duan Lingtian had killed an Indigo Sun Golden Celestial? This had to be a joke. Although they knew Duan Lingtian was strong and was not inferior to many Golden Celestials, they did not expect him to be so strong. However, they did not expect Duan Lingtian was capable of killing an Indigo Sun Golden Celestial. News of this has spread like wildfire. There's no doubt it's true. A young powerhouse who had just returned from outside sighed and said, I didn't believe it in the beginning as well. However, after asking around, the results were the same. In the end, I had no choice but to believe it. Soon after, a few more people confirmed the news. This is true. Duan Lingtian's strength is too heaven-defying, right? It's not just heaven-defying. Let alone the 9 Spectres County, even in the history of King Qin's mansion, there hasn't been anyone who possesses such strength before the age of 100, right? I didn't think I'd be able to witness the birth of such a monstrous genius in my life. As more and more people confirmed the news, the people in the latent dragon abyss no longer doubted the authenticity of the news. I'm not done yet. The young man who first mentioned that Duan Lingtian had killed the Lu clan's supreme elder, the primitive alchemist Lu Qing, continued to say, yesterday, after Duan Lingtian killed Elder Lu Qing from the Lu clan, he also killed another supreme elder from the Lu clan. That supreme elder was one of the inner mansion elders in the county governor's estate. His strength was only second to Elder Pang Bing and Elder Jing Qiu. As the young man's voice faded, the entire hidden dragon abyss fell into a deathly silence. After a while, a few people who had heard about the incident in the Lu clan nodded in agreement. I've heard about that as well. Elder Lu Qian was also killed by Duan Lingtian. It said that Elder Pang Bing was present at the scene as well. Moreover, Elder Pang Bing admitted that his strength was inferior to Duan Lingtian. What's even more shocking is that before Duan Lingtian left the Lu clan, he extorted 100,000 prominent celestial stones from the Lu clan and 200,000 prominent celestial stones from the Pang clan. Moreover, he gave them a deadline of 3 days to hand over the celestial stones to him. As these people spoke one after another, the group of people in the hidden dragon abyss who hadn't had time to react were once again frightened. They were dumbstruck and didn't recover for a long time. How is it possible that Duan Lingtian is so strong? The first person to regain his senses had a blank look in his eyes as if he had lost his soul as he muttered in a low voice. Lord County Governor doesn't care? The second person who regained his senses asked in confusion. In Lord County Governor's eyes, Duan Lingtian is far more valuable than Elder Lu Qian. It's said that Lord County Governor went to the Lu clan yesterday and expressed his unconditional support for Duan Lingtian. That's why the Lu clan and Elder Pang Bing didn't say a word in the face of Duan Lingtian's threats and extortions. Moreover, since yesterday, both clans have been selling off their properties to collect prominent celestial stones. The Lu clan and the Pang clan, are they really going to give Duan Lingtian 300,000 prominent celestial stones? This is too inconceivable, right? That's 300,000 prominent celestial stones. After everyone came back to their senses, they couldn't help but be shocked and let out waves of exclamations of disbelief. To them, the news was simply too shocking. In the past, they knew Duan Lingtian was not weak and was the strongest person in the latent dragon abyss. However, they did not expect Duan Lingtian to be so strong. His strength was heaven-defying. Duan Lingtian, Qin Yu, who was practicing in the second-to-last stone room of the latent dragon abyss, heard the commotion outside and woke up from his practice. He calmly listened to the discussion of the group of people outside. The Lu clan? They must have a death wish. Qin Yu could not help but laugh when he learned about what had happened yesterday. He felt that the Lu clan was digging their own grave for provoking Duan Lingtian. After all, Duan Lingtian was someone who could even kill a great overarching golden celestial. The Lu clan was nothing compared to him. At this moment, the latent dragon abyss was not the only place that was in an uproar because of what had happened yesterday. Even the county governor's estate was in an uproar because of what had happened. It was even to the extent that in the entire county city, so long as there were people, practically everyone was discussing this matter, and even more people were extremely shocked by the strength Duan Lingtian revealed. He's not even 100 years old, but his strength is comparable to a great overarching golden celestial. Even Elder Pang Bing, who was widely acknowledged as the strongest person below great overarching golden celestial in 9 Spectres County, admitted that he's not a match for Duan Lingtian. I can't believe there's such a hidden dragon in the 9 Spectres County. A hidden dragon rising from the abyss is unstoppable. It seems like the 9 Spectres County is going to have a great person. As the news spread in the county, most of the people in the 9 Spectres County felt proud that the 9 Spectres County had produced such a hidden dragon. Even more people were looking forward to the growth of this hidden dragon. They were curious to what extent he could grow to in the future. Naturally, there were also some people whose expressions were unsightly when they heard the news. These people were from the 15 county governors' manors under King Qin's mansion. They were in charge of monitoring the situation in 9 Spectres County. Of course, the 9 Spectres County also had people stationed in the county cities of the other 15 counties. We must report this matter to Lord County Governor immediately. I can't believe there's such a hidden dragon in the 9 Spectres County. With him around, Chiolian County will no longer stand a chance in the martial competition of the 16 counties held by King Qin's mansion. When the people sent by the county governor of Chiolian County, one of the 16 counties under King Qin's mansion, learned about the strength Duan Lingtian had displayed in the Lu clan yesterday, they immediately left the 9 Spectres County and returned to Chiolian County. The people sent by the other 14 county governors in the 9 Spectres County also left the 9 Spectres County and went in different directions. At this moment, Duan Lingtian was still focused on refining pills. He was completely unaware that because of the commotion he had caused in the Lu clan, the other 15 counties under King Qin's mansion would face the same fate as the 9 Spectres county in the near future. Another day and night went by. It's done. Chapter 2673. 7 pills. The success rate is not bad. With a sweep of his empty hand, Duan Lingtian collected all the medicinal pills that were shot out from the cauldron. When he opened his palm again, he could see 7 medicinal pills with light circulating around them lying quietly on his palm. They were the primitive celestial pills, the spirit-nourishing pills. From now on, I can guarantee that I won't fail every time I refine a cauldron of spirit-nourishing pills. Moreover, my success rate won't be lower than this. Duan Lingtian was very confident about this. When Duan Lingtian refined the cauldron spirit pill earlier, he had used the Rebirth Martial Emperor's memories regarding the pill refinement technique and mastered the pill refinement technique from the Devata realms. However, despite his confidence, Duan Lingtian still tried to refine 2 cauldrons of spirit-nourishing pills. Without exception, he succeeded. In the second cauldron, he managed to refine 9 spirit-nourishing pills. In the third cauldron, he managed to refine 10 spirit-nourishing pills. In the county city of 9 Spectres County, the price of a spirit-nourishing pill is set at 10 prominent celestial stones. Now, the cost of refining a cauldron of spirit-nourishing pills is only 1 prominent celestial stone. For example, I used 1 prominent celestial stone to refine the spirit-nourishing pills in exchange for 100 prominent celestial stones in return. Celestial alchemists are just like alchemists in the mundane realms. Both professions are extremely profitable. Duan Lingtian could not help but sigh. At the very least, I can confirm that I can only extract a small portion of the gray flame from the defective metal piece. However, I can already use that small portion of gray flames as a primitive celestial fire. Duan Lingtian narrowed his eyes when he thought about the gray flame hidden in the defective metal piece. He muttered to himself, I wonder if the primitive celestial fire is the limit of the gray flame that I can control? If it is, then I can use the gray flame as a mediocre-grade celestial fire once I can fully control the gray flame in the defective metal piece. If the primitive celestial fire isn't the limit of the gray flame that I can control now. In other words, if the gray flame I can control now can be used as a mediocre-grade celestial fire to refine mediocre-grade celestial pills, then once I can control the gray flame in the defective metal piece, it can be used as a prominent celestial fire. Duan Lingtian's eyes brightened as he thought to himself. However, judging from the pill refining process earlier, the small portion of gray flame that I can control is already depleted when I refine the primitive celestial pill, the spirit-nourishing pill. It's impossible for it to be a mediocre-grade celestial fire. This means the gray flame in the defective metal piece is a mediocre-grade celestial fire. I can only extract a portion of the mediocre celestial fire and use it as a primitive celestial fire. Although I possess a mediocre celestial fire, I can only use a portion of it since I can't use it. Currently, I'm only a primitive celestial alchemist at most. Duan Lingtian was well aware of this. I don't know why I can't use all of the gray flame. After all, there are some heavenly celestials in the Devata realms who are mediocre-grade celestial alchemists and possess mediocre-grade celestial fire. I don't think it's because my cultivation base is only a golden celestial that I can't use all of the gray flame that's comparable to a mediocre-grade celestial fire. There must be some other reason I don't know. As Duan Lingtian muttered to himself, he could not help but make a bold guess. In fact, he had guessed correctly. However, he would never have dreamed that the situation would turn out this way. The gray flame was not a mediocre-grade celestial fire. It was the Sun Divine Fire that was in its second form that was comparable to a mediocre-grade celestial fire. Due to his current condition, he could not fully control it. Once the godly fire of the sun left the incomplete metal piece, it wouldn't take long for it to burn Duan Lingtian's body into ashes. If Duan Lingtian wanted to fully control the second form of the sun god flame and let it leave the incomplete metal piece and exist in his body, he had to step into the perfected golden immortal realm. Only the bodies of perfected golden immortals and above could withstand the second form of the divine sunfire. In other words, it was not impossible for Duan Lingtian to master the second form of the sun divine fire that was comparable to a mediocre-grade celestial fire. However, he had to raise his cultivation base to the perfected golden immortal realm first. After all, once a golden celestial became a perfected golden celestial, not only would his celestial origin energy undergo a qualitative change, but his body would also undergo a transformation. Naturally, Duan Lingtian was unaware of this. It's been 2 days. I wonder how the Lu clan and the Pang clan are doing with the prominent celestial stones? Duan Lingtian muttered to himself as his eyes glinted. Although he had spent the past 2 days refining pills, he was not in closed-door cultivation. For this reason, he still had a sense of time. There's only 1 day left before the appointed time. After I obtain the celestial stones from them, it'll be time for me to leave Nine Spectres County and have a look elsewhere. However, before that, I should inform Qin Yu and Elder Zheng Qiu. The moment Duan Lingtian thought of this, he no longer continued to refine pills and left his stone room. Qin Yu. After Duan Lingtian left the cultivation stone room, he looked at the cultivation stone room on the upper level and called out to the room. Duan Lingtian. As soon as Duan Lingtian finished speaking, the door to the cultivation room opened and a figure walked out. It was none other than Qin Yu, who had come from Bloody Spectre City with Duan Lingtian. When Qin Yu saw Duan Lingtian, he smiled faintly and said, Duan Ling, the commotion you caused 2 days ago was quite big. The Lu clan only has 3 supreme elders, and you killed 2 of them. You heard about it? Duan Lingtian smiled faintly. I'm not the only one who heard about it. Now, in the entire county governor's mansion, the entire county city, and the surrounding areas, as long as they're not in closed-door training or are not well-informed, who doesn't know about it? Qin Yu shook his head. Duan Lingtian had already expected everything that Qin Yu had said. Therefore, he was not surprised and merely nodded. Qin Yu. Duan Lingtian's expression suddenly turned serious. He looked at Qin Yu and said, I plan to leave the county governor's mansion and the county city today. Perhaps, I'll even leave Nine Spectres County. You're leaving? Qin Yu frowned. Soon after, he seemed to have recalled something and asked, Is it because of your current strength? Are you worried that the other 15 counties will harm you? That's part of the reason. Duan Lingtian nodded. That's also the main reason. Moreover, I also want to go out for a walk. Previously, when I was in Bloody Spectre City, I didn't dare to go out because I didn't have enough strength. Now that I've finally gained enough strength, I plan to go out for a walk. Who knows, maybe I'll be lucky enough to come across a fortuitous encounter or something. Duan Lingtian chuckled when he reached the end of his sentence. How could one come across a fortuitous encounter so easily? You don't plan to come back? Then, what about the martial competition of the 16 counties? Qin Yu's frown deepened. When the martial competition of the 16 counties begins, I'll go to King Qin's mansion. I heard that the winner of the martial competition of the 16 counties will receive 3 mediocre celestial pills, the Great Luo pills, from King Qin's mansion as a reward. King Qin's mansion definitely won't give away ordinary items. This can be seen from the Great Luo pills. Therefore, I don't want to miss out on this opportunity. Duan Lingtian smiled. Therefore, after I leave this time, we'll meet again in less than a year. Qin Yu heaved a sigh of relief when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. That's good. I was worried that once you leave, I don't know when we'll meet again. Based on the current situation, it's indeed the best choice for you to leave temporarily. Qin Yu knew that when the other 15 counties under King Qin's mansion learned about the existence of Duan Lingtian in Nine Spectres County, they would definitely try their best to get rid of Duan Lingtian. After all, Duan Lingtian had violated their common interests. With Duan Lingtian around, they would no longer have anything to do with the first place in the martial competition of the 16 counties. This was something they did not want to see. However, you still have to be careful when you're away from home. Although you're stronger than Zhou Tong, the former first revered elder of the county governor's mansion, there are many people who are stronger than Zhou Tong outside of Nine Spectres County. Qin Yu reminded. I know. Duan Lingtian nodded. Then, he looked at the stone room that he had been staying in recently and said to Qin Yu with a smile, I'm afraid I won't be returning to Nine Spectres County this time. In the future, you can cultivate in this stone room. With your current strength, no one in the latent dragon abyss will dare to say anything if you cultivate in this stone room. After Duan Lingtian finished speaking, he handed the door talisman to Qin Yu. I'm really lucky that you're leaving this time, Qin Yu said jokingly after receiving the door talisman. However, in the depths of his eyes, waves of excitement and agitation still flowed out. The cultivation environment in Duan Lingtian's stone room was comparable to the cultivation environment of the county governor of Nine Spectres County. Qin Yu had always dreamed of cultivating in that stone room. I won't talk to you about it when I leave. I'm going to say goodbye to Elder Zheng Qiu and the county governor. Then, I'll go to the Lu clan and the Pang clan to collect my debts. Chapter 2674. Elder Zheng Qiu. When Duan Lingtian saw Zheng Qiu again, he could see Zheng Qiu's uneasiness. He could understand why Zheng Qiu was acting this way. After all, Duan Lingtian was no longer the same person he was in the past. If Duan Lingtian had used the Devata artifact, the Seven Orifices exquisite sword, when he left Bloody Spectre City with Elder Zheng Qiu and came to the county city of Nine Spectres County, his strength was on par with Elder Zheng Qiu. However, Zheng Qiu was unaware of this. Now, the news of what he had done in the Lu clan 2 days ago had spread throughout the county governor's mansion and the county city. Zheng Qiu must have found out about Duan Lingtian's current strength. He was even stronger than Pang Bing, the strongest inner court elder in the county governor's estate. On top of that, Pang Bing was stronger than Zheng Qiu. Duan Lingta, I didn't expect you to have grown so much in just 2 years. Your strength has even surpassed mine unknowingly. Zheng Qiu sighed as he looked at Duan Lingtian with a complicated expression on his face. It's all thanks to Elder Zheng Qiu for bringing me to the county governor's estate. If it weren't for the cultivation environment and resources in the county governor's estate, I wouldn't have achieved what I have today. Duan Lingtian smiled. You're good with words. Zheng Qiu shook his head with a smile. You're chosen by City Governor Lu of Bloody Spectre City. Even if I didn't go to Bloody Spectre City and another inner court elder went to Bloody Spectre City, you would have been able to come to the county governor's estate as well. Zheng Qiu knew Duan Lingtian's current strength very well, so he did not dare to claim credit for it. You're here to bid farewell to me, right? Zheng Qiu asked as he narrowed his eyes. Elder Zheng Qiu, you know I'm leaving? Duan Lingtian was slightly surprised. Lord County Governor has already told me. Based on the current situation, it's indeed too risky for you to stay. Zheng Qiu nodded. This time, once the people from the other 15 counties find out you're so strong, they'll definitely think of ways to deal with you. They might even join forces to bribe other powerhouses to kill you. After all, your presence in the martial competition of the 16 counties that's going to be held in King Qin's mansion soon. Great overarching pills. Zheng Qiu said, perhaps I should take this opportunity to take a look around. Duan Lingtian shrugged and said with an indifferent expression, It's rare for you to think of me before you leave. Zheng Qiu smiled as he looked at Duan Lingtian. Then, he raised his hand, and an exquisite little box appeared in his hand. He handed it to Duan Lingtian and said, I'm sure you don't lack celestial stones. You can keep this pill. Raised was raised he. Was raised and Jing raised Duan Lingtian had raised. Duan Lingtian's eyes lit up immediately when he heard Zheng Qiu said there were medicinal pills inside. What pill is it? Duan Lingtian could not help but ask. In Duan Lingtian's opinion, a medicinal pill that could be so solemnly stored in such an exquisite little box by Zheng Qiu, an inner estate elder of the county governor's estate, was definitely not an ordinary medicinal pill. It was definitely a rare medicinal pill. Otherwise, it could have been stored in a pill bottle. Gilded golden pill. Zheng Qiu's eyes lit up as he said bluntly. What? Duan Lingtian's eyes narrowed as soon as he heard Zheng Qiu's words. He stared at the exquisite little box in Zheng Qiu's hands in shock and disbelief. Gilded golden pill? Elder Zheng Qiu, you're telling the truth? Is this really a gilded golden pill? Duan Lingtian's breathing quickened when he looked at Zheng Qiu again. His chest heaved up and down like a bellows, and it took him a long time to calm down. Although the gilded golden pill was only a primitive celestial pill, it was the rarest and most valuable type of primitive celestial pill. A golden celestial below the level of violet sun golden celestial would be able to raise his cultivation base by a level in an instant without any side effects. Naturally, there were no side effects. However, those who had consumed the gilded golden pill before would not have any side effects if they consumed it again. In other words, a golden celestial could only consume one gilded golden pill to raise his cultivation base. A violet sun golden celestial could consume the gilded golden pill to raise his cultivation base, but he could not directly break through and become a great overarching golden celestial. If a violet sun golden celestial wanted to break through and become a great overarching golden celestial, he could only do so by consuming a mediocre celestial pill, the great overarching pill. However, if a great overarching golden celestial consumed the gilded golden pill, it would not have any effect. For this reason, the gilded golden pill was only suitable for golden celestials. As for heavenly celestials below the level of golden celestial, they would not be able to withstand the medicinal effect of the gilded golden pill. If they were forced to consume it, they would explode and die. Yes. When Zheng Qiu saw how excited Duan Lingtian was, he smiled and said, "Since your cultivation base has yet to break through and become a great overarching golden celestial, you'll be able to improve further after consuming the gilded golden pill. Although the improvement won't be obvious, it'll definitely bring you closer to becoming a great overarching golden celestial," Zheng Qiu said. At this moment, Zheng Qiu thought Duan Lingtian was already a violet sun golden celestial. He thought so because of Duan Lingtian's strength. Even Pang Bing, the inner mansion elder of the county governor's estate who was much stronger than him, felt inferior to him. "Elder Zheng Qiu, why don't you consume the gilded golden pill yourself?" Duan Lingtian took a deep breath and calmed his excited feelings before he couldn't help but ask. Zheng Qiu was a violet sun golden celestial. If he consumed the gilded golden pill, his cultivation base would improve and he would be closer to becoming a great overarching golden celestial. Zheng Qiu shook his head and said, "I've already consumed one gilded golden pill in the past. It won't have any effect on me if I consume it again." Zheng Qiu shook his head and said, "Back then, I obtained 3 gilt golden pills by chance. I took one and gave it to my son, who's the current patriarch of the Zheng family. This is the only one left. Since you have 300,000 prominent celestial stones from the Lu clan and the Pang clan, it's obvious you don't lack celestial stones. This gilded golden pill is the only one I have that I can give you." "You can have it," Zheng Qiu said. "Thank you, Elder Zheng Qiu." The gilded golden pill was too tempting for Duan Lingtian. For this reason, Duan Lingtian did not stand on ceremony and accepted the gilded golden pill. However, in his heart he remembered this favor from Elder Zheng Qiu. He was only a yellow sun golden celestial now. Once he consumed the gilded golden pill, he would be able to break through and become a green sun golden celestial. It would save him a lot of time. Duan Lingtian. Zheng Qiu heaved a sigh of relief when he saw Duan Lingtian had accepted the gilded golden pill. However, he hesitated to speak. "Elder Zheng Qiu, if there's anything you want to say, just say it," Duan Lingtian said with a smile. "Duan Lingtian, you should know that if you win the martial competition of the 16 counties, the county governor's estate in 9 specters county will receive 3 mediocre celestial pills, the great overarching pills. 3 great overarching pills. Lord County Governor will definitely consume 2 of them himself. After all, he has been stuck at the profound realm great overarching golden celestial for many years. After consuming 2 great overarching pills, he'll be able to break through to the next stage. However, even though the prefectural governor has taken 2 great luo elixirs, there's still 1 great luo elixir left. I hope that during the martial competition of the 16 counties, You can advise the prefectural governor to consider giving the remaining Great Luo elixir to me instead of Elder Pang Bing. Zheng Qiu took a deep breath before he finally said what he wanted to say. Of course. You can just suggest it to Lord County Governor. I'll owe you a favor regardless of the outcome. Even if Lord County Governor gives the remaining great overarching pill to Elder Pang Bing, I won't have any complaints. Zheng Qiu said. Don't worry, Elder Zheng Qiu. Leave it to me. Duan Ling Tian agreed immediately. When the martial competition of the 16 counties begins, I'll look for Lord County Governor as soon as I arrive at King Qin's mansion and ask him to give you a great overarching pill. If he's unwilling, I'll purposely go easy on you and give the first place to someone else. I believe he'll know what to do at that time. Duan Lingtian's eyes brightened. Thank you. Although he felt Duan Lingtian's actions would anger Lord County Governor, he did not say anything. He knew this was the only way he would have a higher chance of obtaining the great overarching pills. There's no need to thank me, Elder Zheng Qiu. Take it as me repaying you for giving me the golden guilt pill. Duan Lingtian shook his head with a smile before he bade farewell to Zheng Qiu and left. After leaving Zheng Qiu's courtyard, Duan Lingtian went to look for Tian Jiyu, the county governor of 9 Spectres County, and left the county governor's estate. I'm afraid I won't be able to return to the county governor's estate after leaving the 9 Spectres County. Duan Lingtian thought to himself as he looked at the vast county governor's estate in the 9 Spectres County. In the end, Duan Lingtian took a few more glances at the county governor's estate. This was the place he had spent the most time in since he came to the spirit overarching heaven in the Devata realm. After leaving the county governor's estate, Duan Lingtian went to the Lu clan and the Pang clan to collect the 300,000 prominent celestial stones from the 2 clans. The Lu clan is really rich. Just as Duan Lingtian had expected, the Pang clan did not have 200,000 prominent celestial stones, so they only gave him 100,000 prominent celestial stones. As for the remaining 100,000 prominent celestial stones, it was the Lu clan who helped the Pang clan. Duan Lingtian did not encounter any problems when collecting the money. This was because Duan Lingtian had the county governor of 9 Spectres County as his backer. Otherwise, the Lu clan and the Pang clan would not have cooperated so well. After collecting the money, Duan Lingtian left the county governor's estate. On the 3rd day after Duan Lingtian left the county governor's estate, swoosh! At this moment, a ghostly figure entered the county city of 9 Spectres County and barged into the county governor's estate. Chapter 2675. I'm looking for Duan Lingan. An old woman dressed in a plain robe stood in the air above the county governor's mansion in 9 Spectres County as she spoke slowly. Although her voice was not loud, it seemed to contain a magical power that spread through the entire county governor's mansion. Everyone in the county governor's mansion heard the old woman's voice. Before the old woman spoke, even the most powerful county governor, Tian Jiyu, who was a great overarching golden celestial, did not notice the old woman's arrival. A commotion broke out in the county governor's mansion when they heard the old woman's words. This voice. It seems to be coming from the sky above the county governor's mansion. Based on the voice, it seems to be an old woman in her 70s. Why is she looking for Duan Lingtian? I can't tell if she's happy or angry from her tone. I wonder why she's here. No matter why she's here, the outer, inner, and revered elders won't let her go since she's causing such a commotion in the county governor's mansion. Similar discussions could be heard everywhere in the county governor's mansion. These comments were mostly made by the servants and maidservants in the county governor's manor, as well as a small number of guards with weaker cultivations. Without exception, these people were all below the golden celestial realm. At this moment, those who were golden celestials or above in the county governor's estate felt their hearts tremble when they heard the old woman's voice that came from the sky. Their hearts began to throb as well. This person is not simple. Just her voice alone can make a blue sun golden celestial like me feel this way. She's at least a great overarching golden celestial. I'm afraid even an ordinary great overarching golden celestial wouldn't be able to make me feel this way with just her voice alone. Some of the stronger guards in the prefectural governor's manor, as well as the outer mansion elders, inner mansion elders, and reverends, could tell from the voice that the owner of the voice was extraordinary. She was at least a great overarching golden celestial. In the county governor's mansion, only the county governor was capable of dealing with such a person. After all, the county governor was the only great overarching golden celestial left in the county governor's mansion. The other Zenith Heaven Golden Immortal, Zhou Tong, the former first consecrator of County Governor Manor, had died outside some time ago. The cause of his death was still unknown. Such an expert, if we approach her rashly, we will only offend her. It was precisely because they realized this that the group of outer court elders, inner court elders, and revered elders in the county governor's estate did not dare to rashly soar into the air and approach the uninvited guest. In the courtyard of the county governor of Nine Spectres County, a figure shot up into the sky. In the blink of an eye, it seemed to have turned into a bolt of lightning and shot toward the direction of the voice of the uninvited guest. At this moment, only Tianjiyu, the county governor of Nine Spectres County, dared to approach the uninvited guest and came out from the courtyard of the county governor of Nine Spectres County. This expert? Could he be an expert bought over by one of the other 15 counties? Tianjiu could not help but have such thoughts when he heard that the uninvited guest was looking for Duan Lingtian. However, as soon as the thought appeared, he dismissed it. After all, it was impossible. What Duan Lingtian did to the Lu clan only happened 5 days ago. Unless it's a Zenith Heaven Golden Immortal, it's impossible for him to reach the county city in 5 days. Tianjiu thought to himself, even if a Violet Sun Golden Celestial travels at full speed, it'll still take about 10 days to reach the county city closest to Nine Spectres County. For this reason, Tianjiu did not think the uninvited guest was a powerhouse bought over by one of the 15 counties to deal with Duan Lingtian. It was impossible for the other 15 counties to plant a Zenith Heaven Golden Immortal in the county city of Nine Spectres County. Among the 15 counties, the county with the most Zenith Heaven Golden Immortals only had 3 Zenith Heaven Golden Immortals. For this reason, it was impossible for any of the counties to plant a Zenith Heaven Golden Immortal in another county's county city. After all, it was a very wasteful and extravagant thing to do. Moreover, as the county governor of Nine Spectres County, Tianjiu had information about the people planted in the county city of Nine Spectres County. Based on Duan Lingtian's knowledge, the strongest person from the other 15 counties was only an Indigo Sun Golden Celestial. For this reason, he was certain the uninvited guest had nothing to do with the other 15 counties. When Tianjiu arrived near the source of the voice, he suddenly slowed down and looked at the figure in the distance. It was an old woman dressed in a plain long robe. The old woman stood there motionless like a mountain. However, Tianjiu felt as though she had merged with heaven and earth. "You're the county governor of Nine Spectres County?" All of a sudden, the old woman's turbid eyes narrowed without any warning, and she immediately met Tianjiu's gaze. In an instant, those cloudy eyes became as bright as the stars, extremely dazzling. A terrifying aura surged out of the old woman's body as soon as she met Tianjiu's eyes. It was as though a vast ocean had crashed into Tianjiu's body. Barf! Almost as soon as the old woman's aura hit Tianjiu, who had just been frightened by the old woman's bottomless eyes, suddenly trembled and couldn't help but spit out a large mouthful of blood. As the congested blood spurted out, Tianjiu's body trembled violently a few times. He subconsciously stepped back a few steps in the air. "Greetings, Senior. I'm Tianjiu, the county governor of Nine Spectres County." Although Tianjiu was furious, he did not dare to show any disrespect. After he caught his breath, he bowed respectfully at the old woman. At the same time, Tianjiu's heart was also in turmoil. Even a peak great overarching golden celestial wouldn't be able to injure me so severely with just her aura. In other words, this old woman is at least an overarching heavenly supreme celestial. An overarching heavenly supreme celestial. That was even more powerful than a great overarching golden celestial. King Qin was the only person in King Qin's mansion who was an overarching heavenly supreme celestial. Tianjiu shuddered when he realized the old woman was an overarching heavenly supreme celestial. The anger in his heart disappeared and was replaced by anxiety. Why would an overarching heavenly supreme celestial come to 9 Spectres County? Moreover, why was she looking for Duan Lingtian? Where's Duan Lingtian? The old woman asked in a deep voice as she stared at Tianjiu. Senior, why are you looking for Duan Lingtian? Tianjiu could not help but ask. He could not figure out how Duan Lingtian was related to an overarching heavenly supreme celestial. Moreover, the overarching heavenly supreme celestial's eyes flashed with killing intent when she mentioned Duan Lingtian. It was clear she did not come with good intentions. It was clear the overarching heavenly supreme celestial was looking for Duan Lingtian to kill Duan Lingtian. Don't ask questions that you shouldn't ask. You only need to answer my question, the old woman said coldly. Tianjiu felt as though he had fallen into an ice cellar when he heard the old woman's cold voice. Yes, yes. Tianjiu, who was so frightened that he sucked in a breath of cold air, quickly responded. He was as docile as a cat. Although Tianjiu was the county governor of 9 Spectres County, he had the backing of King Qin's mansion. However, the person standing before him was an overarching heavenly supreme celestial. His strength was on par with King Qin, the strongest person in King Qin's mansion. Even if the other party killed him, the Duke of Qin's manor wouldn't avenge him. It was impossible for King Qin, the master of King Qin's mansion, to offend an overarching heavenly supreme celestial for the sake of a mere county governor. Senior, you're late? Duan Lingtian left the county governor's mansion and the county city 3 days ago. After taking a deep breath, Tianjiu said to the old woman while trembling with fear. He left. Hearing Tianjiu's words, the old woman's eyes suddenly narrowed into slits, a cold light flashing through them. I'll give you one more chance. Say it again. If I find out that you're lying this time, I'll make sure you die a horrible death. The old woman's voice was bone-chillingly cold. Senior, I'm telling the truth. Duan Lingtian did leave the county governor's mansion and the county city 3 days ago. Tianjiu smiled bitterly. As for the reason why he left, I know as well. If you want to know, I can tell you now. Tianjiu said. Speak. The old woman's narrowed eyes suddenly opened. A sharp light flashed in the depths of her eyes, like bolts of lightning intertwining together. 5 days ago, almost as soon as the old woman finished speaking, Tianjiu opened his mouth. He didn't dare to hesitate and told the old woman everything that had happened in the Liu family 5 days ago. He's not even 100 years old, but his strength is already close to that of a great overarching golden celestial? The old woman frowned slightly. That brat who defiled Miss Bing has such innate talent? The old woman was slightly taken aback. However, although she was shocked, the killing intent in her eyes did not reduce in the slightest. She wished for nothing more than to kill Duan Lingtian. In other words, he left the county city of 9 Spectres County because he was worried that the other 15 counties would send powerhouses to kill him? The old woman asked coldly. Yes. Tianjiu nodded. Did he say he would participate in the martial competition of the 16 counties that will be held in King Qin's mansion soon? The old woman asked as her eyes flashed coldly. He didn't say anything. Tianjiu replied. Naturally, he would not tell the old woman. He had already told Duan Lingtian that he would be in King Qin's mansion in time to participate in the martial competition of the 16 counties. He still had to rely on Duan Lingtian to obtain 3 mediocre celestial pills, the great overarching pills. He had no choice but to tell the old woman the reason why Duan Lingtian had left the county city of 9 Spectres County. He knew if the old woman asked around in the county city of 9 Spectres County, she would be able to guess the reason why Duan Lingtian had left the county city of 9 Spectres County. For this reason, he did not dare to hide the truth. Chapter 2676. As for Duan Lingtian's participation in the martial competition of the 16 counties, Tianjiu, the county governor of 9 Spectres County, naturally would not tell the old woman the truth. After all, the old woman would most likely come to King Qin's mansion and attack Duan Ling Tian when the martial competition of the 16 counties was held. At that time, unless King Qin personally intervened, no one would be able to stop the old woman. Under such circumstances, Duan Ling Tian would most likely die. He did not want to see that happen. After all, if Duan Ling Tian died, Duan Ling Tian would not be able to participate in the martial competition of the 16 counties. It would also mean that Duan Ling Tian would not be able to win the competition and obtain the 3 mediocre celestial pills, the Great Overarching Pills, for 9 Spectres County. The Great Overarching Pills were something he had always dreamed of obtaining. He would not allow anyone to ruin his chances of obtaining the Great Overarching Pills, even if the person was an overarching heavenly supreme celestial. Humph! The old woman coldly snorted. Her powerful aura once again slammed into Tian Jiu, causing him to take a few steps back. Blood spurted out of his mouth as if it was free. His blood dyed the sky like bloody roses, dazzling and dazzling. Your cultivation base is close to that of an Earth-rank Great Overarching Golden Celestial. You must have been stuck at this bottleneck for many years, right? The old woman asked as she glanced at Tian Jiu indifferently. Before Tian Jiu could reply, the old woman continued, "At this time, if you have 2 or 3 Great Overarching Pills, it won't be difficult for you to break through the bottleneck and become an Earth-rank Great Overarching Golden Celestial. If I were you, I would definitely allow Duan Ling Tian to participate in the martial competition of the 16 counties. After all, you've said it yourself that with Duan Ling Tian's strength, it won't be difficult for him to win the competition. That's why the other 15 counties under King Qin's mansion wanted to get rid of him and prevent him from participating in the martial competition of the 16 counties after learning of his strength." The old woman finished speaking in one breath. "Senior, you're right." Tian Jiu smiled bitterly and said, "Of course, I hope that Duan Ling Tian will participate in the martial competition of the 16 counties. After all, I do want the Great Luo Pills." However, when he left and said goodbye to me, he hinted that he didn't want to participate in the martial competition of the 16 counties. I even told him that if he participated in the martial competition of the 16 counties and won first place, I was willing to give him one of the 3 Great Luo Pills. However, he didn't seem to be interested at all. He even said that if he participated in the martial competition of the 16 counties and won first place, the other 15 counties would try to harm him. According to him, if he doesn't participate in the martial competition of the 16 counties, he can still survive. Once he participates, his life may be in danger at any time, so he doesn't want to take the risk. Tian Jiu said, "Don't you know how to force him to stay and not let him leave?" The old woman asked in a deep voice. "Senior, if I force him to stay and don't let him leave, he will definitely die when the experts from the other 15 counties come. At that time, I won't be able to get anything out of it. If he leaves, even if he doesn't participate in the martial competition of the 16 counties, he might be grateful that I didn't force him. With his talent, he will have a bright future as long as his journey is smooth and he doesn't die prematurely. When he becomes stronger, as long as he's grateful that I didn't force him, he might be able to help me obtain a mediocre celestial pill, the Great Luo Pill. Therefore, letting him leave is the best choice for me." "Senior, what do you think?" Tian Jiu's words were watertight, and he could not find any flaws in them. He had said so much because he wanted to mislead the old woman and let her know that Duan Ling Tian would not participate in the martial competition of the 16 counties. Otherwise, if the old woman had waited for Duan Ling Tian during the martial competition of the 16 counties at King Qin's mansion, Duan Ling Tian would most likely die. Even he would be implicated and would not be able to obtain the Great Luo Pills that he wanted. One had to admit that Tian Jiu's flawless words were very effective. At the very least, the old woman did not doubt his words. When he left, did he say where he was going? The old woman asked in a low voice as she looked at Tian Jiu. When Tian Jiu heard the old lady's question, he knew the old lady believed his words. She did not think Duan Ling Tian would participate in the martial competition of the 16 counties held by King Qin's mansion. For a moment, he was delighted, but he did not dare to show it on his face. When he left, I asked him where he wanted to go. However, at that time, he said he didn't know where he wanted to go. Tianjiu smiled bitterly as he said, therefore, when he left, he was aimless. I don't know where he's going now. However, it's only been 3 days since he left, so he should still be in the 9 Spectres County. I hope you're not lying. If I find out that you know where he's going and don't tell me, you'll definitely die in the future. After the old woman finished speaking, she disappeared from Tianjiu's sight in just a blink of an eye. From the beginning until the end, Tianjiu could not see the old woman at all. It was as though she had really disappeared into thin air. This old woman, I'm afraid she's not an ordinary overarching heavenly supreme celestial. After the old woman left, Tianjiu's eyes widened in shock. Even if King Qin from King Qin's mansion disappeared before his eyes at the fastest speed possible, he might not be as fast as this old woman who did not leave any traces behind. Tianjiu was thoroughly shocked by the old woman's strength. I wonder how Duan Lingtian managed to offend such a person. Tianjiu smiled bitterly. Wait a minute. Tianjiu suddenly thought of something. Duan Lingtian is not even 100 years old, but his strength is already comparable to a great overarching golden celestial. Logically speaking, it's impossible for such a person to appear in the 9 Spectres County. Could it be that his origin isn't simple either? Or perhaps he's from a powerful force and came to the 9 Spectres County because that force was annihilated. And that old woman just now was a member of the enemy force of the powerful force that had already been annihilated. The more Tianjiu thought about it, the more he felt this was possible. Fortunately, Duan Lingtian was unaware of Tianjiu's current thoughts. Otherwise, he would have been impressed by Tianjiu's imagination. Tianjiu had such thoughts because he did not know Duan Lingtian had ascended to the spirit overarching heaven less than 3 years ago. I hope that old woman won't come when the martial competition of the 16 counties begins. If she comes, not only will Duan Lingtian be in trouble, but I'll be in trouble as well. After all, if she sees Duan Lingtian in King Qin's mansion during the martial competition of the 16 counties, she'll definitely think I've deceived her. Tianjiu could not help but pray that the old woman would not appear in King Qin's mansion during the martial competition of the 16 counties. After all, Duan Lingtian would be in King Qin's mansion at that time. Duan Lingtian was unaware that if he had left the county governor's estate a few days later, he would have been killed by the powerhouses from the compassionate celestial traveler sect. After leaving the county governor's estate 3 days ago, Duan Lingtian had been making his way to Bloody Spectre City. He wanted to greet Lu Fenggu, the city governor of Bloody Spectre City, before he left the 9 Spectres County. Although Duan Lingtian and Lu Fenggu were not close, Lu Fenggu had indeed helped him in the past. Moreover, Lu Fenggu was the one who had provided him with the celestial fire. For this reason, Duan Lingtian decided to meet Lu Fenggu before he left the 9 Spectres County. He wanted to leave behind some prominent celestial stones and primitive celestial pills, the spirit-hardening pills, for Lu Fenggu. High-grade celestial stones and spirit-nourishing pills were easily obtainable to him now, and they weren't even worth mentioning. However, to Lu Fenggu, they were all precious treasures. I, Duan Lingtian, don't like to owe people favors. I'll leave behind some prominent celestial stones and spirit-hardening pills for City Governor Lu to repay him for telling me about the gray celestial fire. Perhaps, I won't have anything to do with him in the future. With this thought in mind, Duan Lingtian left the county city of 9 Spectres County and made his way to the city governor's estate in Bloody Spectre City to meet Lu Fenggu. Duan Lingtian? To Duan Lingtian's surprise, Lu Fenggu was overjoyed when he saw Duan Lingtian. You're all right? It was as though Lu Fenggu was overjoyed to see Duan Lingtian was fine. Duan Lingtian could see a hint of guilt in the depths of Lu Fenggu's eyes. It was as though Lu Fenggu had done him wrong. City Governor, what's wrong? Duan Lingtian was puzzled. He did not understand why Lu Fenggu would lose his composure when he saw him again. Why would Lu Fenggu feel guilty? Duan Lingtian, forgive me. I had no choice. Lu Fenggu sighed when he saw Duan Lingtian did not seem to know what had happened. Then, he told Duan Lingtian everything that had happened. A few days ago, An old woman came looking for you. She asked me where you were. She even threatened the lives of the city governor's estate and the Black Dragon army. I had no choice but to tell her that you went to the county governor's estate in the county city of 9 Spectres County. She was too strong. Just her aura alone was enough to make me kneel on the ground. I was on my last breath, and I couldn't even stand up. It felt like she was even stronger than the county governor of 9 Spectres County. Chapter 2677. Stronger than the county governor? Duan Lingtian's expression turned grim when he heard Lu Fenggu's words. With his current strength, even if he used the Devata artifact, the 7 Orifices exquisite sword, he would only be able to fight to a draw with the county governor of 9 Spectres County. It would be difficult for him to defeat the county governor of 9 Spectres County. After all, not only was the county governor of 9 Spectres County stronger than Zhou Tong, the great overarching golden celestial whom he had killed, but the county governor's celestial methods and divine abilities were superior as well. For this reason, although Duan Lingtian had consumed the gilded golden pill and become a green sun golden celestial, he did not dare to say he was stronger than the county governor of 9 Spectres County. It would be difficult for him to defeat the county governor of 9 Spectres County, let alone someone stronger than the county governor of 9 Spectres County. Old woman. Duan Lingtian looked at Lu Fenggu and asked, City Governor Lu, why is the old woman looking for me? Duan Lingtian could not figure it out. He had just ascended to the spirit overarching heaven not long ago. Why would someone stronger than the county governor of 9 Spectres County come looking for him? I don't know why she's looking for you. However, I'm certain she's up to no good. Although she didn't show it on her face when she mentioned you, I can see the killing intent in her eyes. It's obvious she wants to kill you. Lu Fenggu said in a deep voice. Kill me? Duan Lingtian's pupils constricted as shock appeared on his face. It was as if waves of tempestuous waves had been set off in his heart. It's been less than 3 years since I ascended to the spirit overarching heaven. I've been staying in 9 Spectres County for the past 3 years. How could I have offended someone so powerful? Could it be that Yun Qin Yen from the Divine Offering Land sent someone to kill me? However, isn't the passage from the Divine Offering Land to the Devata realms closed? How could Yun Qin Yen send someone to kill me when he's trapped in the Divine Offering Land? Moreover, if they're sent by Yun Qin Yen, there's no need for them to search for me in Bloody Spectre City, right? Duan Lingtian recalled the person Yun Qin Yen had sent to the mundane realm to kill him. That person had appeared in Yanhuang realm through a tear in space. Based on his words, he had said he was stronger than most heavenly emperors in the Devata realms. If Yun Qin Yen had sent someone to kill him, there was no need for him to come to 9 Spectres County. Once he entered King Qin's mansion, he would be able to locate him with just a thought. If it wasn't Yun Qin Yen, who could it be? Based on what I've done after coming to the spirit overarching heaven, I don't think I've had any interactions with experts of that level, right? Duan Lingtian could not understand why such a powerful existence would target him and even want to kill him. One needed a motive to kill someone. However, he really couldn't think of any motive that the old woman had to kill him. Duan Lingtian, you've only ascended to the spirit overarching heaven for less than 3 years. How did you offend such a powerful existence? Lu Fenggu asked as he looked at Duan Lingtian. I don't know either. Duan Lingtian shook his head. He was completely baffled as well. He did not know how he could have offended such an existence. Could it be because of Zhou Tong? Lu Fenggu asked as he inhaled sharply. Zhou Tong? Duan Lingtian shook his head. Put aside the fact that we're the only ones who know Zhou Tong was killed by you, we're the only ones who know I brought Zhou Tong to Bloody Spectre City and handed him over to you. If the old woman came for Zhou Tong, it's impossible for her to only target me. Moreover, she didn't make things difficult for you after meeting you. This means she's looking for me and wants to kill me. It has nothing to do with Zhou Tong. Duan Lingtian analyzed the situation. Lu Fenggu nodded after listening to Duan Lingtian's analysis. Clearly, he agreed with Duan Lingtian's analysis. If that's the case, why is she targeting you? Could it be an expert hired by the other 15 counties to kill me? Duan Lingtian asked with a frown on his face. An expert hired by the other 15 counties? Lu Fenggu was stunned. Impossible. If she's hired by the other 15 counties to kill me, it's impossible that she doesn't know I'm in the county city of 9 Spectres County. Moreover, I'm afraid the other 15 county governors aren't aware of what I've done in the county city. After thinking about it, Duan Lingtian felt it was impossible for the old woman to be hired by the other 15 counties. Duan Lingtian, what are you talking about? Why would the other 15 counties hire an expert to kill you? Lu Fenggu asked. Although news of what Duan Lingtian had done in the county city of 9 Spectres County had spread throughout 9 Spectres County, due to time constraints, it did not reach Bloody Spectre City. In response to Lu Fenggu's question, Duan Lingtian recounted everything that had happened in the Lu clan. Apart from that, he also told Lu Fenggu the reason he had left the county city and the county governor's estate. I see. Lu Fenggu exclaimed in realization. Lu Fenggu was enlightened. He could not help but rejoice as he said, "It seems like the old lady who left our Bloody Spectre City for the county city passed by you. If that's the case, I'm lucky to have left the county city alive?" As Duan Lingtian's eyes gleamed, he could not help but rejoice. Duan Lingnan, since you've left the county city in 9 Spectres County, why are you here in Bloody Spectre City? Lu Fenggu asked. I'm here to bid farewell to you, City Governor. Also, I want to thank you for telling me about the celestial fire. Duan Lingtian did not beat around the bush. You obtained the celestial fire? Lu Fenggu's eyes lit up immediately. Duan Lingtian nodded. Is it a primitive celestial fire? Lu Fenggu asked again. Duan Lingtian nodded. Initially, I didn't know what grade the celestial fire was. However, when I tried to refine the primitive celestial pill, the spirit-nourishing pill, I discovered it had run out of energy. At that time, I was certain it was a primitive celestial fire. Indeed, Duan Lingtian's gray flame was only comparable to a primitive celestial fire. He didn't tell Lu Fenggu that most of the gray flames were hidden in the metal fragments, and he couldn't use them yet. This was because he wasn't sure if he would be able to use the remaining gray flames in the future. If he could use the remaining gray flame, it would definitely be comparable to a mediocre celestial fire. Although it's a primitive celestial fire, since it's a primitive celestial fire that can only be obtained by a great overarching golden celestial, it's obviously not an ordinary primitive celestial fire. Duan Lingnan, congratulations on obtaining a primitive celestial fire and becoming a primitive celestial alchemist. Lu Fenggu congratulated Duan Lingtian. It's all thanks to you, City Governor. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to obtain the celestial fire and become a celestial alchemist. Duan Lingtian smiled faintly as he took out a spatial ring and handed it to Lu Fenggu. What's this? Lu Fenggu was stunned. I don't know when I'll be back after I leave. Take these as a reward for providing me with the celestial fire. Duan Lingtian smiled. Duan Lingtian. Lu Fenggu smiled wryly. When I betrayed you and told that old woman about your whereabouts, you've already repaid the favor you owed me. If we're talking about who owes you, I'm the one who owes you. You avenged my direct disciple, but I repaid your kindness with ingratitude. The more Lu Fenggu spoke, the guiltier the expression on his face became. City Governor, you didn't have a choice. I understand. Moreover, I'm fine now, aren't I? Duan Lingtian shook his head and smiled. Just accept it. It's a token of my appreciation. Under Duan Lingtian's persuasion, Lu Fenggu finally accepted the spatial ring. However, when he saw the mountain of prominent celestial stones and dozens of bottles of primitive celestial pills, the spirit-nourishing pills, he hastily removed the claim on the spatial ring. Duan Lingnan, this is too much. You should keep these celestial stones and spirit-nourishing pills for yourself. Lu Fenggu handed the spatial ring back to Duan Lingtian. City Governor, please accept it. I don't lack celestial stones and spirit-nourishing pills now. Duan Lingtian did not accept the spatial ring. He shook his head and said, now that I've achieved my purpose of returning to Bloody Spectre City, it's time for me to leave. If there's a chance in the future, I'll come back to visit you. Duan Lingtian. Lu Fenggu called out to Duan Lingtian before he was about to leave. With a solemn expression on his face, Lu Fenggu asked, "You don't tell me you're still going to participate in the martial competition of the 16 counties?" "I've promised the county governor," Duan Lingtian said. "Moreover, if I win first place in the martial competition of the 16 counties, I'll definitely be valued by King Qin's mansion. At that time, I'll be able to use the cultivation environment and resources provided by King Qin's mansion to further improve my cultivation. But if that old woman is waiting for you in King Qin's mansion, won't you be in danger? After all, she's stronger than the county governor. At that time, even the county governor might not be able to protect you." Lu Fenggu said with a wry smile. "King Qin's mansion is filled with experts. I don't think she'll dare to cause trouble there, right?" Duan Lingtian said with a frown on his face. "It's hard to say. After all, I'm only certain she's stronger than the county governor. As for whether there's anyone in King Qin's mansion who can stop her, I can't say for sure." Lu Fenggu said with a hint of fear on his face. "If she can't find you in the county city of 9 Spectres County, she'll be able to find out why you left the county city. She will most likely wait for you at King Qin's mansion when the martial competition of the 16 counties is held." Lu Fenggu said, "Unless you're certain she's not strong enough to cause any trouble in King Qin's mansion." Lu Fenggu added. Chapter 2678. After listening to Lu Fenggu, the city governor of Bloody Spectre City, Duan Lingtian was impressed by Lu Fenggu's meticulous analysis of the situation. Upon hearing Lu Fenggu's words, Duan Lingtian's expression turned grave. Indeed, if the old woman was so strong that even King Qin's mansion could not defeat her, who would be able to save him if she waited for him in King Qin's mansion? That old woman, who is she? At this moment, Duan Lingtian realized the old woman's identity was not certain. Unless he could confirm the old woman's identity and strength, it would be risky for him to participate in the martial competition of the 16 counties that was going to be held in King Qin's mansion. Initially, he knew the old woman's strength was on par with the county governor of 9 Spectres County. However, he did not expect the old woman's strength to be stronger than the powerhouses in King Qin's mansion. After all, the powerhouses in King Qin's mansion were much stronger than the county governor of 9 Spectres County. Unless you can confirm the old woman's identity and strength, I don't approve of you participating in the martial competition of the 16 counties that will be held in King Qin's mansion. Lu Fenggu added. "Thank you for your reminder, City Governor Lu." After thanking Lu Fenggu, the slightly upset Duan Lingtian left in the end. However, he remembered Lu Fenggu's final words and did not dare to be careless about it. After all, his life was at stake. Sigh. After Duan Lingtian left, Lu Fenggu sighed as he looked at the spatial ring in his hand. Unknowingly, he tightened his grip on the spatial ring. "Duan Lingnan, I hope you'll remember my words. It's best if you don't participate in the martial competition of the 16 counties that will be held in King Qin's mansion and stay away from the area that King Qin's mansion controls." Outside Bloody Spectre City. Swoosh. Duan Lingtian walked in the air like a shooting star toward the border of 9 Spectres County, preparing to leave. At this moment, Duan Lingtian did not know where he was going, so he walked aimlessly. At this very moment, his mind was in a complete mess. That old woman, who is she? Since she wants to kill me, there must be a reason. However, after I ascended to the spirit overarching heaven, I don't think I've offended anyone with a backer like this old woman, right? Duan Lingtian began to recall everything that had happened since he had ascended to the spirit overarching heaven 2.5 years ago. He really wanted to know where exactly that old woman had come from, and why she had come. Could it be her? As he thought about it, Duan Lingtian's mind flashed. A figure also appeared in his mind and did not disappear for a long time. All of a sudden, Duan Lingtian stopped in his tracks. His thoughts seemed to have returned to the time when he had just ascended to the spirit overarching heaven. He was originally walking aimlessly on the streets of Bloody Spectre City. All of a sudden, the noise and clamor in the surroundings seemed to come to an abrupt halt and completely disappeared. It was as though the people in the surroundings were being strangled and could not make a sound. At that time, Duan Lingtian had also stopped in his tracks. He realized that a group of people on the street were all looking behind him, as if there was something behind him that made them absent-minded. What's it that's causing them to be unable to make a sound? At that time, Duan Lingtian had also slowly turned around out of curiosity. As soon as Duan Lingtian turned around, he saw a graceful figure in front of him. He could not help but exclaim inwardly, "What a beautiful woman!" He thought to himself, "What a beautiful woman!" The reason why such a large street had become strangely quiet was all because of that woman. The woman was dressed in a light purple dress. Her eyebrows were like jade, her skin was as fair as snow, and her waist was slim. Although there was a thin veil covering half of her face, her pair of clear and cold autumn eyes, as well as her elegant and refined temperament, were enough to make everything around her pale in comparison. Apart from that, her face was also covered by the veil. However, because the veil was half transparent, the outline of her face was faintly discernible, and one could vaguely see the perfect curve of her face. It made one have the urge to lift the veil and take a look at her face. One could imagine how charming she was even with the veil on her face. If the veil was removed, one could only imagine how beautiful she would be without the veil on her face. As the woman walked gracefully, the crowd quietly parted to form a path for her. At this moment, everyone, regardless of gender, was looking at the woman with infatuation. It was as though the woman had some kind of magical power. If it was any other time, many men would have lustful thoughts when they saw such a peerless beauty. However, at this moment, none of the men present had any strange expressions on their faces. When they looked at the woman, apart from a brief moment of amazement, there was only reverence in their eyes. It was as though the woman was a holy being who was high and mighty and could not be profaned. Murong Bing. After a while, Duan Lingtian finally regained his senses and sighed deeply. When he was in the mundane realm, he already had 2 wives and 1 confidant. He only acknowledged those 3 women in his heart. Although there were many other women around him, none of them had gained his approval. He had always treated them as ordinary friends. He had always thought he was very lucky to have 2 wives and 1 confidant. He had always hoped that his love life would be in question. He locked the door to his heart and allowed the beauties to swarm him, but he remained motionless. However, it did not cross his mind that he would fall into a trap. After he had ascended to the spirit overarching heaven, he had unknowingly gotten intimate with a woman whom he did not really like but had only met once. Moreover, he had unknowingly gotten intimate with a woman whom he did not really like but had only met once. Although they were not husband and wife in name, they were still husband and wife in reality. "I'll find you. The woman I, Duan Lingtian, have slept with can only belong to me, Duan Lingtian." That was what Duan Lingtian had said when Murong Bing left. In his heart, he had already regarded Murong Bing as his woman. Is that old woman related to her? If she wanted to kill me, she could have done it herself. There's no need for her to send someone to kill me now, right? As Duan Lingtian muttered to himself, he thought it was unlikely that Murong Bing had sent the old woman to kill him. If Murong Bing wanted to kill him, she would have done it herself. Even if she regretted not killing him and wanted to kill him again, there was no need for her to send someone else to do it. After all, as a woman, her chastity was very important to her. It was impossible for her to tell others that her chastity had been ruined. If the old woman didn't come for her, who did she come for? Unknowingly, Duan Lingtian noticed that he'd once again returned to a dead end, and he was completely at a loss. If the old woman really came for her, I'm afraid I can't go to the martial competition of the 16 counties in King Qin's mansion. Duan Lingtian thought to himself. He had seen Murong Bing's strength before. She was very powerful. Moreover, Murong Bing's background was not simple. She seemed to be from a powerful sect that possessed a sect-guarding celestial weapon. If the old woman came for Murong Bing, it meant she was probably from that sect as well. It was impossible for someone from that sect to be afraid of King Qin's mansion. Time flew by. In the blink of an eye, almost a year had passed. The martial competition of the 16 counties in King Qin's mansion was about to begin. The Duke of Qin's manor was not only a general name for a faction, but also a general name for a region. It was also a general name for a vast and boundless manor. The king's city of King Qin's mansion was located on a vast grassland. From afar, it looked like a giant beast lying on the grassland. It lay there quietly and motionlessly as though it was asleep. This giant beast, which seemed to be asleep, opened its 4 bloody mouths at all times, allowing the passers-by to pass through it freely. It was rare to see people walking on the top of the giant beast's head. This was because King Qin's mansion had a rule in King Qin's mansion. Those who entered or left King Qin's mansion were not allowed to walk on air. They had to follow the rules and enter through the 4 gates of King Qin's mansion. King Qin's mansion was too big, and a big city meant a lot of people. When there were more people, it would naturally become chaotic. In order to better maintain the security of King Qin's mansion had set up such a rule. Bush, 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 bush. Accompanied by the sound of wind whistling, 2 groups of people came from 2 different directions. They came to the east gate of Royal City, and the number of people was about the same, a total of more than 30 people. The 2 groups of people were led by a middle-aged man who exuded a majestic aura. It was obvious he had been in a high position for a long time. When the 2 groups of people arrived at the eastern gate of King Qin's mansion, they flew down together. They did not dare to violate the rule of not allowing people to enter or leave King Qin's mansion. County Governor Tian, what a coincidence! I didn't expect to meet you outside King Qin's mansion. One of the middle-aged men said to the other middle-aged man. The middle-aged man who was addressed as County Governor Tian was none other than Tian Jiyu, the County Governor of 9 Spectres County. Apart from the 2 inner mansion elders and a few revered elders, the rest of the people behind Tian Jiyu were all young men who were younger than 100 years old. There were 29 of them in total. One of the new faces was none other than Zhou Fei, the adopted son of Zhou Tong, the first revered elder of 9 Spectres County. If Duan Ling Tian was here, he would have recognized him immediately. Chapter 2679. Among the 29 young men, Qin Yu, who was familiar with Duan Ling Tian, was among them as well. However, as Qin Yu stood outside King Qin's mansion's royal city and looked at the majestic royal city, his eyes became a little blurred. He seemed to be in a daze, and no one knew what he was thinking. Prefectural Governor Wang. Tian Jiu smiled faintly in response to the newcomer's greeting. The person whom Tian Jiu addressed as Prefectural Governor Wang was Wang Qiling, the Prefectural Governor of Fair Mountain County, one of the 15 counties under King Qin's mansion. Similar to Tian Jiu, Wang Qiling had come to King Qin's mansion for the martial competition of the 16 counties. Behind Wang Qiling, the Prefectural Governor of Fair Mountain County, were a few of his trusted subordinates. The rest of the 30 young men were all young men. These youngsters stood there and stared at Qin Yu and then behind Tian Jiu like tigers eyeing their prey. To them, the young men behind Tian Jiu were their competitors in the martial competition of the 16 counties. Only by defeating all of them would they have a chance to stand out and obtain a good ranking in the martial competition of the 16 counties. Prefectural Governor Tian. You seem to have brought one person with you. After a while, Wang Qiling's gaze swept across the 29 youths behind Tian Jiu. Finally, his gaze landed back on Tian Jiu, and he stared deeply at him. There's one more person who went out to train. He'll be here when the martial competition of the 16 counties begins. Tian Jiu said indifferently. Went out to train? Wang Qiling narrowed his eyes when he heard Tian Jiu's words. He asked tentatively, County Governor Tian, don't tell me you're referring to Duan Ling Tian, the young powerhouse who's famous in the 9 Spectres County? Tian Jiu smiled proudly at Wang Qiling's question. He did not answer Wang Qiling directly. Prefectural Governor Wang will be entering the city first. Without waiting for Wang Qiling's reply, Tian Jiu led the group of people behind him into King Qin's mansion's royal city. Only Wang Qiling was left standing there with a gloomy expression on his face. Lord County Governor. At this moment, an old man standing behind Wang Qiling said in a deep voice, I'm afraid the person Tian Jiyu mentioned is Duan Ling Tian. Who else could it be other than Duan Ling Tian? Wang Qiling said in a deep voice. Initially, when I found out there's only Duan Ling Tian in 9 Spectres County who's almost as strong as a great overarching golden celestial who's not even 100 years old, I met with the county governors of the other 14 counties. We spent a large amount of supreme celestial stones to hire a heaven-rank great overarching golden celestial to kill Duan Ling Tian in 9 Spectres County. However, when the powerhouse arrived at the 9 Spectres County and searched the entire county, he couldn't find Duan Ling Tian. Duan Ling Tian had already left 9 Spectres County and successfully evaded the powerhouse's pursuit. Less than a year ago, the people that Fair Mountain County had planted in the county city of 9 Spectres County reported back to Fair Mountain County about a golden celestial who was not even 100 years old and whose strength was almost as strong as a great overarching golden celestial. At that time, he realized the severity of the matter. He knew that if the powerhouse was not killed, the 30 young powerhouses from Fair Mountain County would no longer be able to claim first place in the martial competition of the 16 counties. This meant that the 3 mediocre celestial pills, the great overarching pills, would no longer have anything to do with them. This was not something he wanted to see. It was not something that the people from the other 14 counties wanted to see. For this reason, the 15 county governors of the 9 Spectres County, including him, had decided to spend some supreme celestial stones to hire a powerhouse who was stronger than Tian Jiyu, the county governor of 9 Spectres County, to kill Duan Ling Tian. However, the powerhouse had gone to 9 Spectres County. Alas, the target had disappeared. Actually, if we had a young powerhouse like Duan Ling Tian in Fair Mountain County, we would have used the same method to protect him, a middle-aged man standing behind Wang Qiling said with a wry smile on his face. Actually, when Lord County Governor said you and the other 14 county governors were going to invite a powerhouse to kill Duan Ling Tian, I knew this would happen. Another person behind Wang Qiling snorted and said, "Do you think Lord County Governor doesn't know about this?" If there was even the slightest possibility, Lord County Governor would have joined forces with the other 14 county governors to hire a powerhouse to kill Duan Ling Tian. After all, Duan Ling Tian's existence has seriously affected the balance of the martial competition of the 16 counties held by King Qin's mansion. However, since Duan Ling Tian is still alive, as long as he participates in the martial competition of the 16 counties, he'll definitely be able to claim first place. The middle-aged man could not help but sigh when he reached the end of his sentence. Indeed. The others agreed as well. Although Wang Qiling, the county governor of Fair Mountain County, had the same opinion, he was still slightly bewildered. However, he knew that it was useless for him to be bewildered. After all, what was done could not be undone. There was nothing he could do about it. Very soon, the king city of King Qin's mansion was filled with young powerhouses from the 16 counties under King Qin's mansion. The martial competition of the 16 counties would be held in 3 days. Due to the arrival of the 16 powerhouses from the 16 counties under King Qin's mansion, the king city that had been bustling with noise and excitement for more than half a month suddenly became quiet. It was like the calm before the storm. In an inconspicuous inn in King City. The county governor of 9 Spectres County only brought 29 people. In a spacious room, an old woman dressed in a plain long robe asked in a deep voice as she looked coldly at the middle-aged man in front of her. If Tian Jiyu, the county governor of 9 Spectres County, was here, he would be able to recognize the middle-aged man as Wang Qiling, the county governor of Fair Mountain County whom he had met at the entrance of King City. As the county governor and lord of Fair Mountain Prefecture, Wang Qiling was extremely humble and respectful in front of the old lady. His humble attitude was comparable to how he treated King Qin, the master of King Qin's mansion. I saw it with my own eyes. Wang Qiling said, I think Tian Jiyu left the last spot for Duan Ling Tian who has been missing for almost a year. Senior, perhaps you'll be able to capture Duan Ling Tian in King Qin's mansion this time. However, if Duan Ling Tian appears after the martial competition of the 16 counties, I'm afraid it'll be difficult for you to capture him. At that time, The powerhouses from King Qin's mansion will definitely step in to protect Duan Lingtian. As Wang Qiling spoke, he voiced out his concerns. The old woman snorted coldly. Her voice was so cold that it made Wang Qiling, the dignified Fair Mountain County's county governor, feel as though he had fallen into an ice cellar. It was as though he was in a world of ice and snow. Even if King Qin from King Qin's mansion steps in, he won't be able to protect Duan Lingtian unless he has a death wish. Unless he has a death wish. When the old woman reached the end of her sentence, her tone was not only cold, but also domineering. It was as though if King Qin dared to step in to protect Duan Lingtian, she would ask for King Qin's name. Gasp. Wang Qiling could not help but gasp when he heard the old woman's words. He looked at the old woman respectfully. In the past, although he knew the old woman was powerful, he did not expect her to be more powerful than King Qin from King Qin's mansion. However, based on her words, it seemed like she was more powerful than King Qin from King Qin's mansion. How could he not be shocked? As far as I know, the martial competition of the 16 counties is held in King Qin's mansion. The venue is not open to the public. Think of a way to bring me in. I don't want to alert Duan Lingtian before the martial competition of the 16 counties ends. I don't want Duan Lingtian to appear. The old woman said nonchalantly. Yes. Wang Qiling replied respectfully. Then he asked, Senior, do you have any other instructions? If you don't, I'll take my leave. From the beginning until the end, the old woman did not even bat an eyelid. It was as though she could not be bothered to look at Wang Qiling. 3 days later, the martial competition of the 16 counties held in King Qin's mansion arrived as scheduled. On the surface, everything seemed normal and calm. However, as the days passed, the martial competition of the 16 counties became more and more intense. It was nearing its end. Tian Jiyu, the county governor of 9 Spectres County, became anxious. Why hasn't Duan Lingtian appeared yet? If he doesn't appear soon, the martial competition of the 16 counties will be over. At this moment, Tian Jiyu felt as though he had been stood up by Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian, is he all right? On the other hand, Qin Yu, who had just been eliminated, could not help but feel worried when he saw that Duan Lingtian had not appeared. He was worried that something had happened to Duan Lingtian, and that was why he did not participate in the martial competition of the 16 counties. Pang Bing, the first inner mansion elder of the county governor's mansion of 9 Spectres County, snorted and said, I don't think Duan Lingtian is coming. What an ingrate! Back then, the county governor's mansion spent so much effort to nurture him. How could he not show up at such a critical moment? Elder Pang Bing, you can't speak carelessly. Perhaps Duan Lingtian encountered something and couldn't leave, so he couldn't make it in time? Zheng Qiu defended Duan Lingtian. Couldn't make it? Pang Bing sneered. That's a good excuse. However, even if he encountered something important, could it be more important than participating in the martial competition of the 16 counties? After all, we're talking about 3 mediocre celestial pills, the great overarching pills. If he didn't show up today, not only would our 9 Spectres County miss out on the 3 great overarching pills, we wouldn't even be able to obtain a single great overarching pill. Pang Bing's expression darkened when he reached the end of his sentence. That's enough. Why are you arguing? Chapter 2680. On the last day of the martial competition of the 16 counties, the top 10 contestants would fight each other. Of course, it was hard to say whether these 10 strongest people were the ones who came to participate in the martial competition of the 16 counties held in King Qin's mansion. This was because there were still many young experts from the 16 counties who had yet to make a move. King Qin's mansion had set a rule for the martial competition of the 16 counties. In any of the 16 counties, they could choose one person as their trump card to fight for the top 3 positions in the martial competition of the 16 counties. King Qin's mansion had set this rule so that the strongest young expert from each of the 16 counties would be in the best condition to fight for the top 3 in the martial competition of the 16 counties. However, if the young experts from the 16 counties did not even make it to the top 10 in the martial competition of the 16 counties, their counties would be punished. They would have to pay 3 times the usual amount of prominent celestial stones every year for the next 10 years. Of course, if any of the 16 counties were not confident, they could choose not to keep their trump cards. King Qin's mansion would not force them to do so. However, if any of the 16 counties kept their trump cards, they would have to follow the rules set by King Qin's mansion. If they did not make it to the top 10 in the martial competition of the 16 counties, they would have to pay more celestial stones every year. Among the 16 counties under King Qin's mansion, 3 of them were not confident in their young experts and did not keep their trump cards. As for the other 13 counties, they had all kept their trump cards. This included 9 Spectres County. 9 Spectres County's trump card was Duan Ling Tian, who had yet to show up. If Duan Ling Tian did not show up today and did not make it to the top 3 in the martial competition of the 16 counties, they would be considered absent and would be automatically excluded from the top 10. 9 Spectres County would also be punished. Therefore, the people of 9 Spectres County were very anxious these 2 days. It's the last day. Why isn't Duan Ling Tian here yet? Could something have happened to him? Qin Yu was the only contestant from 9 Spectres County who had made it to the top 10 in the martial competition of the 16 counties. Of course, the top 10 was not enough to make the people of 9 Spectres County happy because there were still 13 contestants who had not shown up yet. Moreover, 12 of them were the trump cards of the other 12 counties, and their strength was not inferior to Qin Yu. Only the top 10 contestants who made it to the top 3 in the martial competition of the 16 counties would be rewarded by King Qin's mansion. Although Qin Yu made it to the top 10 in the martial competition of the 16 counties, it did not mean that he would stay there forever. Qin Yu's Spectres County, Spectres of the 16 Spectres of the 16 Spectres County. Qin Yu's Spectres County Spectres. However, at this moment, he could not help but worry about Duan Ling Tian's safety. County Chief Tian. At this moment, Wang Qiling, the county governor of Fair Mountain County, arrived next to Tian Jiyu, the county governor of 9 Spectres County. He said with a faint smile on his face, "The trump card of 9 Spectres County should be Duan Ling Tian, right? However, it seems like he hasn't shown up yet. I heard he left the county city of 9 Spectres County about a year ago. Did he die outside during this time?" The smile on Wang Qiling's face grew wider and wider as he asked. "The martial competition of the 16 counties. Isn't it still ongoing?" Tian Jiyu narrowed his eyes and said nonchalantly, "County Governor Wang, it seems like you can't wait for Duan Lingtan to show up. It seems like you don't have much confidence in Yang Jin from Fair Mountain County." Towards the end, Tian Jiyu's tone was laced with a hint of mockery. Yang Jin was Fair Mountain County's trump card in the martial competition of the 16 counties, and he had not shown up yet. Although Yang Jin had not shown up yet, his strength was widely acknowledged in Fair Mountain County. He might not be as strong as Duan Ling Tian, but his reputation in Fair Mountain County was on par with Duan Ling Tian in 9 Spectres County. If it's someone else, I wouldn't have no confidence in Yang Jin. However, if it's Duan Ling Tian, I don't have much confidence in Yang Jin. It's not just Yang Jin, I believe the other trump cards from the other 11 counties don't have confidence in 9 Spectres County's Duan Ling Tian as well. Wang Qiling was not angered by Tian Jiyu's words. Instead, he continued to say, "After all, Duan Ling Tian from 9 Spectres County displayed strength comparable to a great overarching golden celestial in the Lu clan in 9 Spectres County about a year ago. Even Pang Bing, the strongest person below great overarching golden celestial in 9 Spectres County, admitted that he's no match for Duan Ling Tian. How can I have confidence in Yang Jin from Fair Mountain County if he's the strongest person below great overarching golden celestial in 9 Spectres County? After all, Yang Jin's strength is far inferior to Pang Bing, the strongest person below great overarching golden celestial in 9 Spectres County." Not only did Wang Qiling acknowledge Duan Lingtian's strength, but he even praised Duan Lingtian's strength. If one did not know better, one would think that Duan Lingtian was one of Wang Qiling's subordinates and not from 9 Spectres County. The strongest person below the great overarching golden celestial in 9 Spectres County was none other than Duan Lingtian, who had left 9 Spectres County a year ago and had not been heard from since. County Chief Wang, you're quite self-aware. Tianjiyu did not know how to respond to Wang Qiling's words when he heard Wang Qiling praising Duanling Tian. He looked at Wang Qiling intently before he said, "You're right. County Chief, don't tell me Duanling Tian from 9 Spectres County is already here? Did you hide him?" Wang Qiling looked deeply at Tianjiyu and asked with a deep and meaningful tone. "County Chief Wang, you seem to be very interested in Duanling Tian." Tianjiyu replied, "Of course. I'm sure I'm not the only one. The other 14 county chiefs are also very interested in Duanling Tian. It's said that even Lord King Qin from our King Qin's mansion has mentioned Duanling Tian before." A hint of envy could be seen in Wang Qiling's eyes when he reached the end of his sentence. "County Chief Tian, I'm really curious. Is Duanling Tian here?" Wang Qiling asked again. He did not notice that his tone was slightly anxious when he asked this question. It was as though he wanted to know if Duanling Tian was here or not. "County Chief Wang, didn't you say that Duanling Tian might have perished outside?" Tianjiyu asked nonchalantly. "I was just joking." Wang Qiling's expression froze when he heard Tianjiyu's words. He could not help but smile awkwardly. "County Chief Wang, if you want to know if Duanling Tian is here or not, you'll find out in the afternoon. Today, the top 10 and top 3 of the martial competition of the 16 counties will be fighting." Tianjiyu said nonchalantly, "If Duanling Tian doesn't show up, he'll definitely show up in the afternoon. However, I think, County Chief Wang, you don't want him to show up, right?" A hint of mockery could be seen in Tianjiyu's eyes as he looked at Wang Qiling. "Of course not." Wang Qiling shook his head and smiled. "I'm looking forward to his appearance. Although I know he'll definitely be the champion of the martial competition of the 16 counties, I'm still curious. He's not even 100 years old, and he's the strongest person in 9 Spectres County below the age of great overarching golden celestial." Wang Qiling's words were sincere. It was as though he was speaking from the bottom of his heart. However, was that really the case? "County Chief Tian, the battle for the top 3 of the martial competition of the 16 counties is about to begin. The trump cards of each county are about to be revealed. I'll return to the spectator stand where the people from Fair Mountain County are." Wang Qiling bade farewell to Tianjiyu before he left. "I won't see you out." Tianjiyu glanced at Wang Qiling's back and said slowly, "You're a genius." After Wang Qiling left, Tianjiyu could not help but feel a sense of anxiety in the depths of his eyes. Today was the last day of the martial competition of the 16 counties. However, until now, he still did not see Duanling Tian at all. It was as though Duanling Tian had not arrived in King Qin's mansion at all. On the other side, after Wang Qiling returned to the spectator stand where the people from Fair Mountain County were, he walked up to a skinny man in a gray robe. His face could not be seen clearly. Wang Qiling said respectfully through voice transmission, "Senior, I've tested Tianjiyu, but I didn't get anything out of him. He's very cunning. He's always trying to change the subject." Wang Qiling replied through voice transmission. "It doesn't matter." An old man replied calmly through voice transmission. "Today is the last day of the martial competition of the 16 counties. If Duanling Tian is here, he'll show up in the afternoon at the latest. If he doesn't show up, it means he has no intention of participating in the martial competition of the 16 counties." "Who's that?" The few elders and honorary elders who had followed Wang Qiling to King Qin's mansion saw their prefectural governor standing beside the mysterious man in the gray robe. They could not help but feel their hearts tremble. They were curious about the identity of the man in the gray robe and why their county chief treated him in such a manner. "This man, could he be the person Lord County Chief hired to kill Duanling Tian?" An elder from the Fair Mountain County's county chief's mansion guessed in a low voice. "That's impossible." Another elder said, "If Lord County Chief hired someone to kill Duanling Tian, Lord King Qin would not let Lord County Chief off so easily. After all, this is King Qin's mansion. Duanling Tian hasn't shown up yet. He might not come. If he doesn't come, Yang Jin has a high chance of winning the martial competition of the 16 counties." Chapter 2681. In the martial competition of the 16 counties organized by King Qin's mansion, Duan Lingtian from 9 Spectres County was the most favored. News of Duan Lingtian's actions in the Lu clan in the county city of 9 Spectres County spread like wildfire in the 9 Spectres County. In the end, news of Duan Lingtian's actions in King Qing's mansion had spread throughout the entire 9 Spectres County. Even King Qin of King Qin's mansion had heard of him. Due to this reason, Duan Lingtian had become the hottest topic and the highlight of the martial competition of the 16 counties. Many people wanted to catch a glimpse of his elegance. However, up until now, Duan Lingtian had yet to show himself. Duan Lingtian, the trump card of 9 Spectres County, hasn't shown up yet. I wonder what Tian Jiyu, the county governor of 9 Spectres County, is up to. Could it be that he's waiting for Duan Lingtian to show up and replace Duan Lingtian as the champion of the martial competition of the 16 counties? Humph. Duan Lingtian hasn't shown up yet. It might not be because the county governor of 9 Spectres County forbade him from showing up. Maybe he died outside after leaving 9 Spectres County. After all, the outside world is very dangerous. That's possible. Apart from the people from 9 Spectres County and Fair Mountain County, the people from the other 14 counties could not help but whisper among themselves. Based on their words, they either thought that Duan Lingtian had been hidden by the county governor of 9 Spectres County or that Duan Lingtian had died outside and could not participate in the martial competition of the 16 counties. However, no matter what these people said, it was only their guesses. After a while, the powerhouse sent by King Qin's mansion to host the martial competition of the 16 counties announced that since the 13 counties had yet to show their trump cards, the top 10 contestants would compete for the top 3 spots. As time passed, the contestants were pushed back one by one. Qin Yu. Soon after, it was Qin Yu's turn to fight. When Qin Yu walked onto the stage, behind the VIP spectator seats on the side of the vast battle arena, in an area covered by a curtain, a middle-aged man wearing luxurious clothes suddenly stood up from his luxurious chair and stared firmly at Qin Yu. Third Prince. You're? The moment the middle-aged man in luxurious clothes stood up, the 2 old men beside him were shocked. They could not help but look at the middle-aged man in luxurious clothes. They did not know why the 3rd prince of King Qin's mansion would lose his composure. In King Qin's mansion, King Qin had 3 younger brothers. Below King Qin, there were 3 younger brothers. They were called the 2nd prince, the 3rd prince, and the 5th prince by the people in King Qin's mansion. The 3rd duke was the 3rd brother of King Qin. He was sent by King Qin to be in charge of the martial competition of the 16 counties. 3rd Prince Qin Yu was King 3rd Prince was Prince Qin, 3rd Prince's 3rd. Similar. Too similar. Think his name is Qin Yu? The 3rd Marquis did not pay attention to the 2 old men beside him. His gaze was fixed on the young man in the middle of the battle ring. He muttered to himself as his eyes grew brighter and brighter, like 2 bright stars in the night sky. Bush, bush. After hearing the 3rd prince's mutterings, the gazes of the 2 old men beside him simultaneously landed on the young man in the middle of the battle ring. With just a glance, their pupils couldn't help but shrink fiercely. Why does he look so much like the 4th prince? His nose, his lips, and even his forehead are almost exactly the same as the 4th prince's. Who is he? The 2 old men regained their senses and looked at each other. They could see the shock and disbelief in each other's eyes. The 4th prince was the 4th brother of the Duke of Qin in Duke Qin's mansion. It was to the extent that even before the 4th prince left the King of Qin's mansion, he was already stronger than the King of Qin. However, King Qin's mansion's 4th prince had suffered from qi deviation decades ago. After injuring King Qin, he left King Qin's mansion and disappeared without a trace. Although King Qin's mansion had sent people to search for him, they found nothing. Now, after a few decades, they saw someone who looked like the 4th prince in King Qin's mansion's martial competition of the 16 counties. Moreover, this person's surname was also Qin. They could not help but let their imagination run wild. This Qin Yu, could he be? Soon, the 2 old men looked at each other again and saw the same thought in each other's eyes. Elder Qi, go and investigate this Qin Yu. The third Marquis gave the order in a deep voice. Traces of excitement appeared in his eyes. It was as though the young man standing in the middle of the battle arena was an old friend that he had not seen for many years. One of the old men answered and left immediately. At the same time, the martial competition of the 16 counties continued. Qin Yu was also engaged in a fierce battle with a young man who appeared to be around the same age as him. They started to be evenly matched. After about several tens of breaths, Qin Yu's body suddenly burst forth with a burst of powerful energy. The palm prints that filled the sky were also dyed with blood red. Bang! Almost at the same time that Qin Yu's palm attack is stained with that blood red color, the power in the palm increases greatly. It directly crushes and destroys his opponent's attack, sending his opponent flying. He lands on the ground with serious injuries and is on the verge of death. This. Instantly, waves of gasps sounded out in unison from the surroundings of the combat arena. This Qin Yu from the 9 Spectres County actually hid his strength. What was that technique he used at the end? It felt like a divine ability. Moreover, it's an assistive divine ability. It's even more powerful than the other assistive divine ability that he used earlier. This assistive divine ability, I feel like it's at least a dark grade divine ability. Moreover, it's probably not an ordinary dark grade divine ability. I've seen ordinary dark grade divine abilities a few times, and they're far inferior to the one he used earlier. The surroundings of the battle arena were bustling with noise. While the people from the various counties under the command of the Duke of Qin's mansion were discussing animatedly, their attention had shifted to the support type ability that Qin Yu had used earlier. I didn't expect Qin Yu to hide his strength. With Qin Yu's strength, it shouldn't be difficult for him to get into the top 3 of the martial competition of the 16 counties before the other counties use their trump cards. I didn't expect Qin Yu's cultivation to improve so quickly. If he's given a few more years, he might become another Duan Lingtian. The elders and honorary elders from 9 Spectres County could not help but sigh. When the Inner Mansion's elders Pang Bing and Zheng Qiu look at Qin Yu again, there is an additional look of approval in their eyes. That assistive divine ability. I think it's Tian Jiyu, the county governor of 9 Spectres County, stared at Qin Yu. Suddenly, he seemed to have thought of something. His eyes narrowed, and a look of shock and disbelief appeared on his face. It was as though he had seen a ghost. Sky dancing blood imprint. That sky dancing blood imprint. While Tian Jiyu was staring at Qin Yu as if he had seen a ghost, the other 15 county governors also had the same look of shock and disbelief as Tian Jiyu. Many county governors could not help but exclaim in surprise. Sky dancing blood imprint. Isn't it a dark grade assistive divine ability that only the direct descendants of King Qin's mansion can cultivate? How can this brat from 9 Spectres County know a dark grade assistive divine ability that only the direct descendants of King Qin's mansion can cultivate? Where did he learn it from? Stealing a dark grade assistive divine ability from a direct descendant of King Qin's mansion is a capital offense. As the various county governors opened their mouths, the spectator seats surrounding the enormous battle arena also let out waves of low exclamations. From their words, it was as if they were certain that the support-type divine ability that Qin Yu had just displayed was secretly learned from the King Qin's mansion. Sky dancing blood imprint. Behind the VIP seats, behind the curtains, the third prince, who had just sat down, stood up again. The excitement that had just calmed down appeared again. He must be fourth brother's child. Fourth brother has a descendant. Meng Ping, bring Qin Yu to me. The third marquis's gaze pierced through the curtain like a sharp sword and went straight to the host of the martial competition of the 16 counties, who was looking at Qin Yu with a look of astonishment on his face. He immediately sent an order to the third marquis. Yes, third prince. The host of the martial competition of the 16 counties immediately looked at Qin Yu and said, Qin Yu, the third marquis wants to see you. Come with me. Once the host said those words, before Qin Yu could react, the entire crowd burst into an uproar. Third prince. Immediately, numerous gazes from the various spectator seats landed on the area behind the VIP seats that was covered by a curtain. However, while it was easy to see through the veil, it was impossible to see through the veil. I'm afraid this brat from the 9 Spectres County is in trouble. The third prince is going to punish him. Although I don't know where he learned the assist-type divine ability, the Heavenly Blood Seal Dance, from the direct descendants of King Qin's mansion, secretly learning the divine ability that's exclusive to the direct descendants of King Qin's mansion is a capital offense. Many people felt that Qin Yu was going to run out of luck. I don't think the third prince is here to denounce her. Perhaps he's here to acknowledge her as his relative? Exactly. Don't forget, his surname is Qin, his name is Qin Yu. Even though most people think that Qin Yu is out of luck, there are still a small number of people who think that Qin Yu is probably a direct descendant of King Qin's mansion who has wandered outside. In the past, I felt that Qin Yu was somewhat familiar. Now that I think about it, he seems to be somewhat similar to that fourth prince from back then. Chapter 2682. The fourth prince of King Qin's mansion was a legend in the eyes of the people in King Qin's mansion. Among the King Qin's brothers in the King Qin's mansion, the fourth prince's innate talent was undoubtedly the highest. In fact, 100 years ago, his strength surpassed the King Qin's and he was widely acknowledged as the strongest person in King Qin's mansion. However, it was a pity that the heavens were jealous of geniuses. A few decades ago, the fourth prince of the Duke of Qin's manor suffered from qi deviation during his closed-door cultivation. After injuring the Duke of Qin, he left the Duke of Qin's manor and disappeared without a trace. As the county governor of 9 Spectres County, Tian Jiyu was fortunate enough to have met the fourth prince before. However, it had been a long time, so he did not know how to react. He thought Qin Yu looked familiar because he thought Qin Yu resembled the fourth prince. Now that he had seen Qin Yu use the sky-dancing blood print, the exclusive skill of the direct descendants of King Qin's mansion, and the third prince, who was in charge of the martial competition of the 16 counties, had called Qin Yu over, he finally remembered the fourth prince. This Qin Yu from 9 Spectres County looks very similar to the fourth prince of King Qin's mansion. Suddenly, Wang Qiling, the county governor of Fair Mountain County, had a flash of inspiration. Why did he feel that Qin Yu looked somewhat familiar from the first time he saw him? Turns out it was because Qin Yu looked very similar to the fourth prince of the Qin mansion. This Qin Yu, why does he look so much like the fourth prince? He looks so much like the fourth prince and his surname is Qin. Could he be a descendant of King Qin's mansion? He might even be the fourth prince's son. Some of the county governors from other counties who had seen the fourth prince of King Qin's mansion who had disappeared several decades ago could not help but whisper among themselves when they saw Qin Yu enter the VIP area. They guessed that Qin Yu was the son of the fourth prince who had disappeared several decades ago. The fourth prince? The most powerful person in King Qin's mansion, the fourth brother of the current King Qin, the fourth prince of King Qin's mansion. This Qin Yu from 9 Spectres County. Could he be the fourth prince's son? As the group of governors spoke, their subordinates more or less heard what they said. For a moment, they were extremely shocked because this news was extremely shocking and caught them off guard. A nobody from 9 Spectres County was suspected to be the son of the fourth prince of King Qin's mansion, a direct descendant of King Qin's mansion. Other than the people from the 16 counties under King Qin's manor, there were also some distinguished guests invited by King Qin's manor. They were all from powerful sects and clans in the territories under King Qin's manor's jurisdiction. Although the forces these people belonged to were not as powerful as the Duke of Qin's manor, none of the counties under the Duke of Qin's manor could compare to them. Qin Yu? A direct descendant of King Qin's mansion? Fourth prince's son? At the side of the VIP spectator seats, a figure covered in a black robe moved slightly and muttered in a voice that only he could hear. His tone was mixed with a bit of surprise. This black-robed man was completely covered in a black robe, and the black robe was embroidered with balls of flames. These flames formed the word Kun on the black robe. The word Kun seemed to be burning at all times, and it was gorgeous and dazzling. This was the celestial master's robe in the Devata realms. The Celestial Master's robe was the uniform of the alliance of celestial masters in the Devata realms. Only celestial alchemists and celestial weapon craftsmen could obtain the Celestial Master's robe at the alliance of celestial masters' stronghold. Very few people dared to imitate the Celestial Master's robe since they would be hunted down by the alliance of celestial masters if they were discovered wearing a fake Celestial Master's robe. For this reason, very few people dared to imitate or wear a fake Celestial Master's robe in the Devata realms. The Celestial Master's robe was divided into 4 grades. They were the Heaven, Earth, Heaven, Heaven, and Kuan. Only Supreme Celestial Alchemists and Supreme Celestial Weapon Craftsmen were qualified to receive the Heaven Celestial Master's robe. Only prominent Celestial Alchemists and prominent Celestial Weapon Craftsmen were qualified to receive the Earth Celestial Master's robe. Only mediocre Celestial Alchemists and mediocre Celestial Weapon Craftsmen were qualified to receive the Heaven Celestial Master's robe. As for the Celestial Master's robe with the character Kun on it, it was only available to primitive Celestial Alchemists and primitive Celestial Alchemists who proved their identities at the alliance of Celestial Masters' strongholds. The black-robed man was wearing the Heavenly Master's robe with the word Kun on it. This is enough to show that he was a primitive Celestial Alchemist. Vice Sect Leader Huang. Is the 4th Prince stronger than King Qin? Suddenly, the black-robed man tilted his head. His eyes under the black robe flashed and landed on a middle-aged man sitting not far away. He asked in a slightly hoarse and deep voice, "Revered Elder Tianling." When the middle-aged man heard the black-robed man take the initiative to speak to him, he immediately looked at the black-robed man. A radiant smile appeared on his originally solemn face as he nodded and said, "The 4th Marquis of the Duke of Qin's mansion is indeed stronger than Duke Qin. It seems like you haven't heard of the 4th Prince, revered Elder Tianling?" The middle-aged man was Huang Guangji, the vice sect leader of the Flying Dragon sect, a relatively powerful sect in the area governed by King Qin's mansion. This time, he had brought some people from the Flying Dragon sect to join in on the fun at King Qin's mansion's invitation. They were here to join in the fun of the martial competition of the 16 counties. Although the black-robed man had only joined the Flying Dragon sect for 2 months, and he was only one of the 5 primitive celestial alchemists in the Flying Dragon sect, however, since the black-robed man's alchemy skills were far superior to the other 4 primitive celestial alchemists in the Flying Dragon sect, Huang Guangji did not dare to be disrespectful in front of the black-robed man. After all, even the sect leader of the Flying Dragon sect had to be polite in front of the celestial alchemist. Moreover, the sect leader of the Flying Dragon sect had repeatedly reminded him to be polite. He had to treat revered Elder Tianling with the same respect as he treated him. Yes. The black-robed man nodded and said nonchalantly, "I've been wandering around for the past few years. 2 months ago, I arrived in the area governed by King Qin's mansion. Coincidentally, the bottleneck in my cultivation base has loosened, and I'm looking for a place to settle down and seek a breakthrough." As the vice sect leader of the Flying Dragon sect, Huang Guangji had heard about the black-robed man from the sect leader of the Flying Dragon sect. Therefore, he was not surprised by the black-robed man's words. "Revered Elder Tianling, since you're interested in the 4th Prince of King Qin's mansion, I'll tell you more about him," Huang Guangji said enthusiastically. After listening to Huang Guangji's explanation, the black-robed man learned about the 4th Prince of King Qin's mansion. "Qin, you might really be the son of the 4th Prince of King Qin's mansion." The black-robed man's heart skipped a beat as he thought to himself. After he finished speaking, the black-robed man sat there with his head lowered and no longer paid any attention to him. Huang Guangji was not annoyed by this. This was because he was already used to the Flying Dragon sect's revered Elder Tianling's unsociable personality. This revered Elder Tianling. Judging from his hoarse voice, he should be an old man. His real age shouldn't be that young. Huang Guangji glanced at the black-robed man again before retracting his gaze. However, he did not know that the black-robed man's hoarse voice was all an act. Under the black robe was a young man. To be more precise, it was a young man who looked very young and had an extremely powerful aura of flesh and blood. Furthermore, he wore a purple robe. However, because he was shrouded in a black robe, his entire body was covered by the black robe, so others could not tell that he was a young man. Now, if Qin Yu were here and lifted the black robe on this man, he would definitely be able to recognize him at a glance. This black-robed man was none other than the Duan Lingtian he knew. The third prince of King Qin's mansion must be trying to verify Qin Yu's identity. Duan Lingtian, who was completely enveloped in a black robe, thought in his heart. Although he wasn't like the people from the Flying Dragon sect and the others, who all turned their heads to look at the curtain-covered area behind the VIP seats, his thoughts were the same as those people. They were all behind the curtain-covered area. Fortunately, King Qin's mansion set a rule for this martial competition of the 16 counties that any of the 16 counties can leave a trump card behind. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to hide until now. Duan Lingtian thought to himself. Apart from Duan Lingtian, no one, including Tian Jiyu, the county governor of 9 Spectres County, had expected that Duan Lingtian would not be able to hide behind the curtains of the Flying Dragon sect. In fact, Duan Lingtian had long arrived at the venue of the martial competition of the 16 counties in King Qin's mansion. However, he had come with a different identity. He was the revered elder of the Flying Dragon sect, a primitive celestial alchemist who was wearing a celestial master's robe with the word Kun written on it. Due to the fact that he was a primitive celestial alchemist, no one dared to probe him with their divine consciousness even though he was wearing the celestial master's robe with the word Kun on it. After all, nobody wanted to offend a celestial alchemist. Without his identity as a celestial alchemist, he would not have been able to hide his age and identity. All of a sudden, a thunderous roar rang out in a timely manner. King Qin has arrived. King Qin has arrived. As the thunderous voice rang in the air, 9 snow-white horses pulling a roofless carriage could be seen approaching from the distance. Their speed was as fast as a great overarching golden celestial. A majestic middle-aged man dressed in a purple-gold robe sat on the roofless carriage. Chapter 2683. The 9 snow-white horses looked no different from ordinary horses in the mundane realms. However, upon closer inspection, one could see the aura of celestial origin energy emanating from these horses. Clearly, these horses were celestial beasts. In the Devata realms, celestial beasts were divided into celestial beasts that had gained sentience and celestial beasts that had yet to gain sentience. Celestial beasts possessed sentience that was not inferior to humans and could transform into humans. They cultivated like humans and were no different from humans. Celestial beasts that had yet to gain sentience could only rely on their instincts to survive. Even their cultivation base was dependent on their instincts to cultivate and were raised by humans. For example, the 9 horses that pulled the roofless carriage in front of Duan Lingtian were raised by King Qin's mansion. Each of them had a cultivation base equivalent to a violet moon golden celestial. The 9 horses pulled the carriage at a speed that was not inferior to an ordinary great overarching golden celestial. He's King Qin? Duan Lingtian's eyes glinted under his black robe as he looked at the middle-aged man dressed in a long purple gold robe who was sitting on the roofless carriage. The middle-aged man had a jade-like complexion and a tall stature. As he sat there, he emitted waves of majestic aura, suppressing the majestic aura emitted by the county governors from all over the Duke of Qin's mansion. In the face of the middle-aged man's imposing aura, the auras of the county governors from the various counties under King Qin's mansion were not worth mentioning at all. They were on completely different levels. It's King Qin. King Qin is here. After the appearance of the roofless carriage, which was pulled by 9 white horses, the group of people present immediately became restless. Greetings, Lord King Qin. Greetings, Lord King Qin. A moment later, the people from the 16 counties under the command of the Duke of Qin's mansion bowed respectfully to the Duke of Qin. The people in the VIP seats cupped their fists together and bowed at King Qin as well. Greetings, King Qin. Even Duan Lingtian followed the other people from the Flying Dragon sect and cupped his hands at King Qin as a form of greeting. If there was one person who was indifferent to the appearance of King Qin, It would be the person next to the county governor of Fair Mountain County, Wang Qiling. He was clad in a gray robe. The Qin emperor, who was sitting on the roofless carriage, stood up and waved his hands at the people around him. He noticed that the gray-robed man beside Wang Qiling did not seem to care about his appearance. Immediately, he frowned slightly. Within the territory of the Duke of Qin's estate, there was actually someone who dared to put on airs in front of him? In an instant, King Qin's sharp gaze landed on the gray-robed man. Everyone's eyes followed King Qin's gaze and landed on the gray-robed man. At this moment, the gray-robed man had become the focus of everyone's attention. Damn it! What was this guy trying to do? Are you trying to harm us? The expressions of the elders and guardians of Fair Mountain Prefecture changed drastically. Who the hell is he? How can he ignore King Qin when he's in front of him? The group of young experts from Fair Mountain Commandery were speechless. They were also worried that the gray-robed man standing next to the governor of Fair Mountain Commandery would drag them down because of his rudeness to the king of Qin. County Governor Wang, the person next to you seems to have a problem with me. King Qin shifted his gaze from the gray-robed man to the county governor of Fair Mountain County, Wang Qiling, who was standing next to the gray-robed man. Although King Qin's tone was calm, the people present could hear the anger in his voice. Wang Qiling's expression changed drastically, and cold sweat broke out on his forehead. King Qin. As for the other 15 county governors, when they looked at Wang Qiling, their eyes were filled with a sense of schadenfreude. Senior, please inform King Qin. If you're exposed, even if Duan Lingtian wants to show himself, he'll be scared away by you. Wang Qiling sent a voice transmission to the gray-robed man. When the gray-robed man heard the message, he did not reply to Wang Qiling. However, he raised his head slightly. His cloudy eyes were exposed in front of the Qin emperor. There was a sharp glint in his eyes. You're King Qin from King Qin's mansion, right? I'm from the Compassionate Celestial Travelers sect. The reason I'm here today is because the sect leader of the Compassionate Celestial Travelers sect ordered me to kill someone. If you act rashly and alert the enemy, I'll annihilate King Qin's mansion. Just as the king of Qin saw the pair of turbid eyes under the gray robe, as well as the wrinkled face of the old man, a voice rang in his ears at the right time. The Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect. Just as his heart trembled, he saw the gray-robed man's right hand, which was originally covered by his sleeve, move. A token flashed before his eyes. A core elder of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect. Although he had only seen the token for a brief moment, he could tell it was an identity token. Moreover, it was the identity token of a core elder of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect. The core elders of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect seemed to be celestial dukes. King Qin gasped inwardly when he realized the gray-robed man was a celestial duke. He hurriedly shifted his gaze away from Wang Qiling. Senior, I'll ask my subordinate to come up with an excuse. Please forgive him if he has offended you. After all, if I don't do anything in the current situation, I'll definitely expose how unfathomable you are. King Qin sent a voice transmission to the gray-robed man as he withdrew his gaze from Wang Qiling. Umph. The gray-robed man snorted coldly, acknowledging King Qin's words. Then, King Qin sent a voice transmission to Wang Qiling immediately. Wang Qiling's pupils shrank. His eyes were filled with shock and disbelief. However, he quickly regained his composure and bowed to King Qin, saying, King Qin, this person beside me is deaf and mute. If he has disrespected you, please forgive him. Since he's deaf and mute, I won't hold it against him. Qin Wang followed Wang Qiling's lead and walked down the stairs. At the same time, he retracted his gaze and entered the area behind the VIP seats that was shrouded by a curtain. It seems like King Qin is here for Qin Yu. Isn't it obvious? It seems like Qin Yu might be related to the fourth prince who went missing in King Qin's mansion. I heard the fourth prince severely injured King Qin before he left King Qin's mansion. If Qin Yu is related to the fourth prince, won't King Qin seek revenge on Qin Yu? You're thinking too much. Who doesn't know that the reason why fourth prince was able to injure Qin Wang in the past was because he was possessed by the devil and lost his mind? Qin Wang and fourth prince are blood brothers and have always had a good relationship. If Qin Yu is fourth prince's descendant, Qin Wang will only treat him well and won't make things difficult for him. Perhaps King Qin will even allow him to acknowledge his ancestors. In the spectator stands around the battle arena, the attention of a group of people shifted from the gray-robed man beside the fair mountain commandery governor Wang Qi-ling to the area behind the curtain behind the VIP spectator stands. King Qin, the third prince, and Qin Yu were all inside. They did not know what was going on inside because they could not see through the curtains. Moreover, the curtains were soundproof. Not only could they not see or hear what was going on behind the curtains, but they also had no idea what was going on behind the curtains. About 15 minutes later, Qin Yu has withdrawn from the martial competition of the 16 counties. The competition will continue. Outside the curtains, the person from King Qin's mansion who was in charge of hosting the martial competition of the 16 counties rose into the air and announced loudly. As soon as his words left his mouth, the entire place fell into a deathly silence. Qin Yu withdrew from the martial competition of the 16 counties? What's going on? It seems like Qin Yu is really related to the fourth prince. If he's the fourth prince's son, there's no need for him to continue participating in the martial competition of the 16 counties. As the fourth prince's son and a direct descendant of King Qin's mansion will definitely treat him well. This is fate. There's a world of difference between knowing how to reincarnate and not. After a moment of silence, the audience became lively again. Qin Yu, congratulations. In the VIP seats, Duan Lingtian retracted his gaze from behind the curtains and thought to himself, I'll congratulate you when I have the chance. Duan Lingtian had hidden himself here because he was worried that the old woman who went to Bloody Spectre City and Nine Spectres County to kill him a year ago was waiting for him in the dark. Although he did not know who the old woman was, he still had to be careful. For this reason, he had not revealed his identity until now. In the eyes of others, he was just a primitive celestial alchemist from the Flying Dragon sect. It's also because of this celestial master's robe that I'm a primitive celestial alchemist or a primitive celestial weapon craftsman. Otherwise, I would have attracted a lot of attention with my divine consciousness. Duan Lingtian could imagine. If he did not have the Celestial Master's robe with the word Celestial Master's robe, many people would have probed him with their divine consciousness out of curiosity. The martial competition of the 16 counties continued. Behind the curtains behind the VIP seats, Qin Yu stood there. Beside him stood the master of the King Qin's mansion, King Qin, and the third prince of the King Qin's mansion. At this moment, the two of them were staring at Qin Yu with fiery gazes. Qin Yu, on the other hand, was slightly restrained. Where's your father? The third prince asked. My father has passed away. Qin Yu sighed. Whoosh. Whoosh. Chapter 2684. What happened? Your father. How did he pass away? When King Qin looked at Qin Yu again, his expression was extremely unsightly. When he had just acknowledged Qin Yu, he was happy that his fourth brother had a descendant. At the same time, he longed to see his fourth brother again and reunite with his brother. However, he did not expect that when his third brother asked Qin Yu about his fourth brother, his nephew would tell him his fourth brother had passed away. Back then, my father suffered from qigong deviation and injured you. Not long after he left King Qin's mansion, he regained his senses. He blamed himself for injuring you, and he realized that he could suffer from qigong deviation at any time, so he did not plan to return to King Qin's mansion. Qin Yu said slowly, not long after, my father met my mother and they fell in love. Not long after my mother gave birth to me, my father suffered from qigong deviation and left home. My mother brought me to find my father, but we were robbed on the way. The robbers wanted to silence us. My mother risked her life to protect me, but she died in their hands. As he spoke, Qin Yu's eyes turned red. After they killed my mother, they hunted me down. Just as I was about to die, my father regained his senses and returned. He killed those people and saved me. When he saw that my mother had died, he blamed himself and even lost all hope. Then, after he helped me settle down, told me about my background, and gave me this token. Before I could react, he committed suicide in front of me. The moment before he committed suicide, he told me that I must bury him together with my mother. At this point, Qin Yu's eyes turned even redder, as if they were dyed with a bloody mist. In his hand, there was a command plate. It's my fourth brother's identity token. The third Marquis snatches the identity plate from Qin Yu's hand as if he is trying to snatch it. His trembling hand caresses the 3 characters carved on the front of the identity plate, which is his fourth brother's name. Subsequently, his eyes become misty. From now on, King Qin's mansion and King Qin's mansion will be your support. Qin Wang takes a deep breath, pats Qin Yu's shoulder and says solemnly, "When my father told me about my background, he told me to return to King Qin's mansion to acknowledge my ancestors. He also said that his greatest regret in life was that he couldn't return to King Qin's mansion to protect it because he might suffer from qi deviation at any time." Qin Yu continued, Now that you have a family, you don't have to wander outside anymore. From now on, I, your eldest uncle, your second uncle, and your fifth uncle will be your biggest support." The third Marquis says after returning the identity plate to Qin Yu. Qin Yu nodded. However, he was unable to stop the tears from rolling down his face. In the past, he could only rely on himself. Even if he had the chance to safely reach the Duke of Qin's manor this time, he had relied on himself to walk step by step. If he were alone, he would have to be at least a great overarching golden immortal before he dared to travel through the counties under King Qin's mansion. Otherwise, he might be robbed by some peak golden immortals on the way and die on the way. But now, he had the Duke of Qin's manor to rely on. Comparing the two, the difference was like heaven and earth, and it made him feel very conflicted. "Third brother, did you pay attention to the gray-robed man next to Wang Qiling, the county governor of Fair Mountain County?" Suddenly, the Qin emperor seemed to have thought of something. He immediately looked at the third prince and asked with a grave expression, "What? Is there something wrong with that person?" The third Marquis was stunned. When he first arrived, he had taken note of the gray-robed man beside Wang Qiling, the prefectural governor of Fair Mountain Prefecture. When he saw that Wang Qiling seemed to be very respectful to the gray-robed man, he took a few extra glances at the gray-robed man and took note of him. However, after a few days, the gray-robed man seemed to be well-behaved. Therefore, he stopped paying attention to him. "There's something wrong. It's not a small matter." King Qin said, "Don't tell me. Wang Qiling hired him to kill Duan Lingtian from 9 Spectres County?" The third Marquis said with a frown. The third Marquis had heard that the 15 counties under King Qin's manor had joined forces to hire a powerhouse to kill Duan Lingtian in 9 Spectres County. However, he thought the 15 counties only dared to make a move in 9 Spectres County. Once the martial competition of the 16 counties began, even if Duan Lingtian showed up, the 15 counties would not dare to make a move against Duan Lingtian under King Qin's manor's watchful eyes. After all, it was tantamount to provoking King Qin's manor. Kill Duan Lingtian? Qin Yu's expression changed drastically. Duan Lingtian was his only friend. Moreover, he owed Duan Lingtian a debt of gratitude. No. Wang Qiling isn't powerful enough to hire a core elder of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect. King Qin said, Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect? A core elder of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect. The third Marquis asked in disbelief as he looked at the Qin Emperor with a pale face. "What are you talking about?" the third Marquis asked. The Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect was much stronger than the Cloudy Rock Celestial Kingdom where King Qin's mansion was located. In fact, the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect was much stronger than the high-rank Celestial Kingdoms that were stronger than the Cloudy Rock Celestial Kingdom. Even a high-rank Celestial Kingdom would not dare to offend the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect. After all, the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect was a colossus even to a high-rank Celestial Kingdom. In addition, he had also heard that most of the core elders in the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect were Celestial Dukes. Yes. The Qin King nodded. The core elders of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect are all Celestial Dukes. Big brother, Are you sure that the gray-robed man is an immortal monarch? The third Marquis asked with fear and trepidation. I purposely probed her just now. The feeling she gives me is unfathomable. Qin Wang said with a solemn expression. Unfathomable. The third Marquis was shocked again. Immortal monarch? Qin Yu, who was standing to the side, heard the conversation between his eldest uncle and his third uncle. His pupils were also unable to refrain from fiercely shrinking. Immortal monarch. Immortal monarchs were stronger than overarching heavenly supreme celestials. Currently, his eldest uncle was the only overarching heavenly supreme celestial in King Qin's mansion. Even if his father was still alive, there were only 2 overarching heavenly supreme celestials in King Qin's mansion. However, according to his eldest uncle and third uncle, there was an immortal monarch among the participants of the martial competition of the 16 counties. Moreover, the immortal monarch was from a powerful sect called the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect. Most importantly, the immortal monarch was standing next to the county governor of Fair Mountain County, one of the 16 counties in King Qin's mansion. That gray-robed man is an immortal monarch? Qin Yu was shocked. He had some recollection of the gray-robed man since he was one of the only 2 people who did not reveal their faces. As for the other black-robed man, he was from the Flying Dragon sect, a relatively powerful sect in King Qin's mansion. Moreover, the black robe he was wearing was the Celestial Master's robe with the word Kun on it, which was exclusive to primitive celestial alchemists and primitive celestial weapon craftsmen. Compared to the black-robed man, the gray-robed man was even more mysterious. Moreover, seeing that his third brother was suspicious of the gray-robed man's identity as an immortal monarch, King Qin continued to say, that person took out her identity token. Although it was only for a moment, I still saw it. Moreover, I recognized it as the identity token of a core elder of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect. Therefore, there's no doubt that she's a core elder of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect. King Qin said, since we can confirm her identity, it's only natural that we don't provoke her. We even have to cooperate with her if she wants to kill someone. The third Marquis said. That's right. King Qin nodded. At the same time, the martial competition of the 16 counties continued. After Qin Yu withdrew from the martial competition of the 16 counties, the 13 counties under King Qin's mansion had yet to reveal their trump cards. Therefore, the top 3 were temporarily decided. Yan Shihu from One Heart County is temporarily ranked 3rd in the martial competition of the 16 counties. Tong Yuan from Horsetooth County is temporarily ranked 2nd in the martial competition of the 16 counties. Chu Yu from Soaring Wind County is temporarily ranked 1st in the martial competition of the 16 counties. The host of the martial arts competition of the 16 counties stood in the air above the fighting ring and announced loudly in front of everyone. Next, the hidden aces of the 13 counties will have a chance to challenge the top 3 in the martial competition of the 16 counties. If they succeed, they can replace the top 3. If they fail, they can only challenge the bottom 7 in the top 10 and replace them. Only then can they challenge the top 3 again. If the challenged person is defeated, they'll drop 1 rank. Those who rank behind them will also drop 1 rank. The host of the martial competition of the 16 counties continued to explain in detail the rules of the martial competition of the 16 counties. The next martial competition of the 16 counties would be the highlight of this year's martial competition of the 16 counties. This was because the hidden aces of the 13 counties under King Qin's mansion would all be revealed at this time. I really didn't expect that the person who temporarily ranked 1st in the martial competition of the 16 counties would be a woman. Many people around the arena exclaimed. Who would have thought that she would be temporarily ranked 1st in the martial competition of the 16 counties? Even with her strength, she couldn't become the hidden ace of the Soaring Wind County. It seems like the hidden ace of the Soaring Wind County is quite powerful. The hidden ace of the Soaring Wind County seems to be Chu Yu's brother, Chu Yen. Chu Yen, I've heard of him. He's the son of the Soaring Wind County Governor, Chu Tingxian. He didn't make a name for himself until the martial competition of the 16 counties was held. In the past, people only knew that the Soaring Wind County Governor, Chu Tingxian, had a daughter named Chu Yu. Chapter 2685. I thought the Soaring Wind County would keep Chu Yu as their trump card. I didn't expect someone else to be their trump card. Moreover, it's Chu Yu's brother, Chu Yan. Since the Soaring Wind County has chosen Chu Yan as their trump card, it means that Chu Yan's strength is above Chu Yu's. I didn't expect Chu Yu to be the strongest among the younger generation in the Soaring Wind County. Before the news of King Qin's mansion holding the martial competition of the 16 counties spread, Chu Yan was not well known. Chu Yan is really good at hiding his strength. Many people whispered among themselves. The topic of discussion revolved around Chu Yu from the Soaring Wind County and her brother, Chu Yan. Currently, Chu Yu, a young powerhouse from the Soaring Wind County, was ranked first in the martial competition of the 16 counties. She was a valiant and beautiful lady with her long hair tied up in a ponytail. Her delicate features were clearly visible. Although Duan Lingtian had seen many beauties along the way, his eyes still lit up at this moment. Although Chu Yu was a lady, she had a strong beauty that was completely different from the other ladies he had met. She was dazzling. Bush, 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 bush. Accompanied by the swift whistling of the wind, it was the 9 snow-white horses in the sky pulling the roofless carriage. Under the escort of a group of people, they majestically landed in the area behind the VIP spectator seats. The curtains in that area also opened and expanded in a timely manner, enveloping all of them within, disappearing before the eyes of the group of people surrounding the battle arena. Now, the martial competition of the 16 counties will continue. The trump cards of the 13 counties may choose your targets and challenge them. The person from King Qin's mansion who was hosting the martial competition of the 16 counties announced loudly. Almost as soon as he finished speaking, a loud voice rang out. I, Xingdong, challenge Chu Yu. Accompanied by a thunderous sound, a burly figure stepped out from one side of the spectator stand. His movements were as fast as lightning, and it seemed as though there were thunderclaps. This was a young man wearing gray tights. His body was extremely sturdy, and his muscles were filled with explosive power. They seemed to be twitching all the time, and on his exposed muscles, there were clearly visible veins that were pulsating vigorously. The young man had a strong build, but his height was average, only about 1.7 meters. After a while, he was already above the fighting ring. He stood in the air and glanced at the top 10 of the martial competition of the 16 counties. Finally, his eyes fell on the only girl among the top 10. His eyes were filled with fighting spirit. It's Luofu region's Xingdong. Xingdong is the strongest person under the age of 100 in the overarching floating county. It's said that he's already a green sun golden celestial a few years ago. Even if he hasn't broken through to become a blue sun golden celestial, he's still much stronger than before. Chu Yu seems to be a green sun golden immortal as well. It's hard to say who will win this battle. Their cultivation bases are the same. Let's see the difference in their immortal artifacts and other means. Chu Yu has a mediocre celestial weapon. As the trump card of the overarching floating county, Xingdong must have a mediocre celestial weapon as well. This battle will be the most intense battle since the beginning of the martial competition of the 16 counties. I'm really looking forward to it. Almost as soon as Xingdong entered the ring, a group of people who knew Xingdong could not help but discuss among themselves. Just as the group of people around the fighting ring were discussing spiritedly, Chu Yu, who had been called out by Xingdong, stepped into the air at the first possible moment and confronted Xingdong. Xingdong from the overarching floating county. I've heard of you. Chu Yu glanced at Xingdong indifferently and said, however, you're no match for me. Xingdong naturally couldn't tolerate a woman saying that he wasn't a match for her in front of so many people. He snorted coldly and said disdainfully, Chu Yu, I know your strength isn't bad. However, compared to me, Xingdong, you're still lacking. From the beginning, he had watched all of Chu Yu's battles. Therefore, he knew Chu Yu was weaker than him. Therefore, he was going to use his only chance to challenge Chu Yu for the top 3 spots in the martial competition of the 16 counties. As long as he defeated Chu Yu, he would be able to replace her and become the champion of the martial competition of the 16 counties. Although it was only temporary, it was still a great honor. Especially now that King Qin of King Qin's mansion was here, if he could defeat Chu Yu now and become the champion of the martial competition of the 16 counties, even if it was only for a short while, King Qin would take notice of him. Xingdong, does he think Chu Yu's strength is as weak as she has shown? If that's the case, I'm afraid he's in trouble. In the VIP seats, Duan Lingtian, who was wearing the Celestial Master's robe with the word Kuan, narrowed his eyes as he thought to himself. He had watched all of Chu Yu's battles. In the beginning, he did not think much of it. However, in the end, he discovered that Chu Yu had been concealing her true strength. Even though the battle for first place in the martial competition of the 16 counties was intense, she had still held back. Since you're so confident, let's cut the crap and attack. Chu Yu raised her eyebrows and shouted when she heard Xingdong's disdainful words. Boom, 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 boom. Xingdong made his move almost the instant Chu Yu cried out. His body moved like a huge mountain cutting through the sky, causing the air to explode and emit waves of deafening sounds of air exploding. The sound reverberated in all directions, causing some of the weaker people in the spectator seats to frown. Chu Yu, take this? When Xingdong rushed out, he suddenly let out an earth-shattering roar, and an incomparably huge broadsword appeared in his hand. A 30-meter-long saber ray shot out from the saber and slashed toward Chu Yu. That slash appeared to be very simple. However, after it locked onto Chu Yu, it followed him like a shadow. Chu Yu's body moved swiftly. As she dodged, the saber ray continued to lock onto her. It was as if he would not rest until he had cut her into 2 halves with a single slash. Pumph! After letting out an arrogant snort, Chu Yu no longer dodged. With a raise of his hand, a 7-foot-long spear appeared in his hand. With a shake of the long spear, it whizzed forward like an angry dragon. It ferociously met Xingdong's 100-feet-long blade glow. At this moment, Chu Yu was like a female general in the army. She looked even more valiant. The radiance of the blade tore through the air. It was extremely resplendent, like numerous crescent moons. It tore through the sky, as if it was going to split this world apart. Wherever the spear light passed, the tip of the spear seemed to form a star net in the void, which met the saber light that was like a crescent moon. At some point, the people around the combat ring had begun to hold their breaths as they quietly watched the battle. Xingdong is going to lose. After a few exchanges, Duan Lingtian could tell Xingdong had lost the upper hand. He also realized his prediction was coming true. At the same time, Duan Lingtian was not the only one who could tell Xingdong was going to lose. In the VIP seats, there were many high-ranking officials from the clans and sects under King Qin's mansion who had retracted their gazes from the combat ring. They had retracted their gazes because they felt there was no need to continue watching. The victor had been decided. In the end, Chu Yu was stronger than Xingdong. Chu Yu? She had been concealing her strength. When the county governors under King Qin's mansion saw that Xingdong was going to lose, the county governor of Luofu County, where Xingdong resided, also saw this. He did not expect this. Xingdong, who he had kept as a trump card, would be defeated in his first battle. County Chief Chu, your daughter is indeed as good as the rumors say. She's not inferior to a man. The county governor of another county near the people from Soaring Wind County exclaimed as he looked at Chu Tingxian, the county governor of Soaring Wind County. Between his eyebrows, there was a hint of envy mixed in. His daughter was already so strong. Moreover, she had a son who was the trump card of Soaring Wind County. He was envious that Chu Tingxian, the county governor of Soaring Wind County, had such a pair of children. Chu Tingxian was a middle-aged man who was dressed like a scholar. He looked very refined. Although he was old, from his mature and charming face, one could tell that he must have been a handsome man when he was young. You flatter me, County Governor Ren. Upon hearing the county governor's words, Chu Tingxian immediately looked at him and smiled humbly. It's over, Duan Lingtian thought to himself as he retracted his gaze. Bang, 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 bang. In the air above the combat ring, the 7-foot-long spear in Chu Yu's hand, a mediocre-grade celestial weapon, seemed to have transformed into a flood dragon that had broken free from its cage. It pounced toward Xingdong with bared fangs and brandished claws, shattering all of Xingdong's attacks. Finally, it landed on Xingdong and sent him flying. The mediocre-grade celestial weapon that Xingdong was holding tightly in both hands was sent flying. Barf! Xingdong, who had been sent flying and lost his celestial weapon, spat out a mouthful of blood before he fainted. Xingdong, who had fainted, fell hard to the side of the combat ring. He was about to be smashed into a pile of minced meat. The person from King Qin's mansion, who was the host of the martial competition of the 16 counties, was one step ahead of the county governor of overarching county. An invisible force swept out and carried Xingdong to the spectator's stand where the people from overarching county were seated. Thank you, my lord. The county governor of overarching county thanked the host before he went to check on Xingdong's injuries. Chapter 2686. The county governor of Luofu County knew very well. If Chu Yu had not shown mercy, Xingdong would not have been so lightly injured. With Xingdong's current injuries, he would be able to recover to his peak condition after taking a healing elixir. Then, he would be able to continue participating in the martial competition of the 16 counties. Although Xingdong had lost his first battle, he still had a chance to challenge those ranked 4th to 10th in the martial competition of the 16 counties. Furthermore, as long as he could replace one of the 7, he would have the opportunity to challenge the top 3 of the martial competition of the 16 counties. You're welcome, Uncle Yen. As the daughter of the High Wind County's county chief, Chu Yu had interacted with the county chief of the Luofu County before. Now that the county chief was thanking her, she immediately smiled in response. Then, she returned to her original spot and stood side by side with the 2nd to 9th ranked cultivators. Next, the host of the martial competition of the 16 counties said indifferently, Mo Chiu from Chioli County challenges Tong Yuan from Horsetooth County. Just as the host finished his words, a muscular young man stepped out from the side of the auditorium and directly challenged the person who was ranked 2nd in the martial competition of the 16 counties. Tong Yuan from Horsetooth County. Tong Yuan was a 2-meter-tall middle-aged man with a muscular body and copper-colored skin. After he was challenged, he stood up with a solemn expression on his face. His expression was calm, and there was no joy or sorrow on his face. His gaze was fixed on Mo Chiu, the trump card of Chioli County. After a while, both of them attacked at the same time. Boom, 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 bang, 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 bang. After about 30 breaths, a huge figure flew out and admitted defeat. I'm no match for you. I admit defeat. The person who admitted defeat was Tong Yuan from Horsetooth County. Among the 13 trump cards left by the 13 counties, a total of 2 people had entered the battlefield so far. Xingdong from Luofu County had been defeated, and Mo Chiu from Chioli County had successfully challenged Tong Yuan and replaced him. He was ranked 2nd in the martial competition of the 16 counties. As for Tong Yuan, he had been demoted to 3rd. Those who were originally ranked 3rd to 9th all dropped a rank. Those who were originally ranked 10th were directly squeezed out of the top 10. You've been squeezed out of the top 10, so you have a chance to challenge those who are currently in the top 10. You can choose to challenge one of them. As long as you can defeat him, you can replace him and temporarily return to the top 10 of the martial competition of the 16 counties. The host looked at the young man who had been pushed out of the top 10 and said, If you give up this opportunity, you will have no chance of entering the top 10 of the martial competition of the 16 counties. I'll give you 10 breaths of time. Give me an answer after you've thought it through. I give up. After only about 2 breaths of time, the young man who was squeezed out of the top 10 chose to give up. If not for the fact that he was no match for the other 9, he would not have been ranked 10th in the martial competition of the 16 counties. Now, Mo Chiu, who was even stronger than Tong Yuan, had made it into the top 10 of the martial competition of the 16 counties. Tong Yuan knew that he was no match for Mo Chiu, so he chose to give up the challenge. He knew that even if he did, he was no match for Mo Chiu. As for the other 9 people, he had fought with them before, and he was no match for them. Next, as the host spoke again and again, the other hidden aces of the 13 counties entered the arena one after another. The battles were in full swing and intense. During this process, more and more people who were temporarily in the top 10 of the martial competition of the 16 counties were squeezed out of the top 10. They either failed in their challenges again or did not dare to challenge, so they had no chance of entering the top 10 of the martial competition of the 16 counties. During this process, the most outstanding people were undoubtedly Fair Mountain County's trump card, Yang Jin, and Soaring Wind County's trump card, Chu Yen. Chu Yen was the elder brother of Chu Yu, who was temporarily ranked first in the martial competition of the 16 counties. He was the son of the county governor of Soaring Wind County. Now, after one battle after another, the martial competition of the 16 counties was nearing its end. Chu Yu, who had been ranked first in the martial competition of the 16 counties for the time being, had not only fallen from first place, but had also been squeezed out of the top 3. For the time being, he was ranked 6th. If there were no accidents, this ranking would not change much. At most, she would fall 1 place, and this would only happen when Duan Lingtian, the hidden ace of 9 Spectres County, appeared and Duan Lingtian was stronger than her. Naturally, there was no doubt that Duan Lingtian was stronger than her. Therefore, as long as Duan Lingtian appeared, she would fall 1 place. If Duan Lingtian did not appear, she would be able to maintain her ranking and rank 6th in the martial competition of the 16 counties. Currently, the top 10 of the martial competition of the 16 counties were: 1st, Yang Jin from Fair Mountain County; 2nd, Chu Yen from Soaring Wind County; 3rd, Zhong Jueming from Taiping County; 4th, Ren Fei from Red Cloud County; 5th, Zhang Jianhong from Plum Blossom County; 6th, Chu Yu from Soaring Wind County; 7th, Mo Chiu from Chiuli County; 8th, Tong Yuan from Horsetooth County; 9th, Yen Shihu from Tongxing County; 10th, Xing Dong from Overarching County. At this moment, apart from Yang Jin from Fair Mountain County, who was ranked 1st, and Chu Yen from Soaring Wind County, who was ranked 2nd, who had yet to fight, the others had already fought with each other and the outcome had already been decided. In other words, Yang Jin and Chu Yen would determine the first place of the martial competition of the 16 counties. As long as Duan Lingtian does not appear, the first place of the martial competition of the 16 counties will be decided between Yang Jin and Chu Yen. That's right. As long as Duan Lingtian does not appear, only the first 2 places of the martial competition of the 16 counties will change. The last 8 places will remain unchanged. If Duan Lingtian is here, he will definitely be the first place of the martial competition of the 16 counties, if he lives up to his reputation. If Duan Lingtian is here, Xing Dong from Overarching County will be pushed out of the top 10. Seeing that the martial competition of the 16 counties was coming to an end, the audience around the combat arena became even more lively. Most of them were talking about Duan Lingtian, the trump card of 9 Spectres County. Until now, Duan Lingtian had not appeared. Don't worry, I don't think he'll come at this time. The county governor of Overarching County saw that Xing Dong was nervous, so he comforted him. Xing Dong nodded, but he could not help but feel nervous. Once Duan Lingtian showed up, he would be forced out of the top 10. At the same time, he would drag the Overarching Floating County down with him and would be punished by King Qin's mansion. Currently, among the 13 counties, only 9 of them had trump cards and were temporarily in the top 10 of the martial competition of the 16 counties. As for the other 4 counties, except for 9 Spectres County, the trump cards of the other 3 counties had been pushed out of the top 10 and would have to bear the punishment of King Qin's mansion. Therefore, the county governors of the 3 counties did not look too good. Although King Qin's mansion's punishment for the 3 counties they were in charge of, the extra celestial stones they had to hand over, was not enough to hurt the 3 counties they were in charge of, they still felt the pinch. In the VIP seats, Duan Lingtian was wearing the celestial master's robe. He was calm as he watched Yang Jin and Chu Yen, who were facing each other in the air above the combat arena. Yang Jin was the trump card of Fair Mountain County. He was publicly acknowledged by the people of Fair Mountain County as the #1 expert of the younger generation in Fair Mountain County under the age of 100. He was a young man with a medium build. He wore a blue robe and had an ordinary appearance. Chu Yen was the trump card of Soaring Wind County and was the son of the county governor of Soaring Wind County. Before the news of King Qin's mansion holding the martial competition of the 16 counties spread, he was unknown. At that time, his younger sister, Chu Yu, was publicly acknowledged by the people of the Soaring Wind County as the strongest person in the younger generation under the age of 100. However, in this year's martial competition of the 16 counties, he had displayed strength that was far superior to his sister's. He had become the most dazzling dark horse, and had fought his way to second place. At the same time, he was about to compete with Yang Jin for the first place. Behind the VIP seats, there was a large area covered by a curtain. 9 fine white horses were lying on the ground, and a group of people were standing there like javelins. In front of the 9 steeds and this group of people, there were 3 people sitting on 3 luxurious chairs. They were respectively the master of the King Qin's mansion, King Qin, the 3rd prince, and Qin Yu, the person who had just reunited with King Qin and his brother. Qin Yu was looking at Yang Jin and Chu Yen in the air above the combat arena. He was curious about who would win the martial competition of the 16 counties. I wonder if Duan Lingtian will come? If he comes, he'll definitely win the martial competition of the 16 counties. If he doesn't come, the winner of the martial competition of the 16 counties will be decided in this battle. I hope Duan Lingtian didn't come because something happened to him. I hope he's safe and sound. Qin Yu thought to himself. Unlike Qin Yu, although the king of Qin and the 3rd prince's gazes occasionally swept over Yang Jin and Chu Yen, who were in the air above the arena, most of the time, they were still looking at the spectator seats where the people from Fair Mountain Commandery were seated. To be more precise, they were looking at the gray-robed man next to the county governor of Fair Mountain County. Big brother, the core elder of the compassionate celestial traveler sect hasn't shown up yet. Could it be that the person she was ordered to kill by the sect leader of the compassionate celestial traveler sect hasn't shown up yet? The 3rd prince asked King Qin, puzzled. I think so. King Qin nodded and said, however, up until now, those who should have shown up have all shown up, right? At this point, the Duke of Qin paused and looked at the 3rd prince. In the next moment, Duan Lingtian. Chapter 2687. Duan Lingtian? Qin Yu snapped out of his daze almost as soon as the 3rd prince and the king of Qin's mansion said the name in unison. He looked at them and asked, eldest uncle, 3rd uncle? What happened to Duan Lingtian? Right. Suddenly, King Qin seemed to have thought of something. He looked at Qin Yu and asked, you came here with the people from the 9 Spectres County? That Duan Lingtian was also in the 9 Spectres County. Have you ever interacted with him? Of course. Qin Yu nodded. He is my only friend in the 9 Spectres County. Even though Qin Yu only got to know Duan Lingtian later on, Duan Lingtian was still a very young man. However, before he met Duan Lingtian, he did not have a true friend. It was only after he met Duan Lingtian that he felt that he had a friend. And he saved my life. Qin Yu added. Saved your life? Hearing Qin Yu's words, King Qin and the 3rd prince slightly frown. They exchange a look and see bitterness and helplessness in each other's eyes. He was their nephew's friend, and a friend who had saved their nephew's life. It was only right that they protect him. However, if the target of the powerhouse from the compassionate celestial traveler sect was their nephew's friend, there was nothing they could do even if they wanted to protect him. At this moment, they could only hope that the compassionate celestial traveler sect's target was not Duan Lingtian. Even the Duan Lingtian hoped that the Duan Lingtian would not appear. This way, they would not be in a difficult position. Qin Yu nods. At the same time, he sees the helplessness in the eyes of Qin Wang and the 3rd prince. For a moment, his heart cannot help tensing up. Big uncle, third uncle, what were you talking about just now? What happened to Duan Lingtian? When Duan Lingtian was mentioned again, Qin Yu could not help showing a worried expression on his face. Although he didn't hear the conversation between his first and third uncles clearly, an ominous premonition still rose in his heart. We are only guessing. The third Marquis sighed. What guess? Qin Yu became even more anxious. It's like this. As the third prince slowly opened his mouth, his words caused Qin Yu's expression to change again and again. So, third uncle, both you and eldest uncle suspect that the core elder of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect is targeting Duan Lingtian? Qin Yu's expression changed again and again. It was as if he never knew when to stop. Just a suspicion. Seeing Qin Yu's concern, King Qin comforted him. After all, until now, only Duan Lingtian has not appeared in the martial competition of the 16 counties. Of course, it could be someone else. Although King Qin said it was someone else, he was certain the powerhouse from the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect was waiting for Duan Lingtian. After all, apart from Duan Lingtian, a monstrous genius who was not even 100 years old, he could not think of anyone else in King Qin's mansion who was worthy of being killed by the sect leader of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect. After all, when he heard about Duan Lingtian a few months ago, he was also shocked. He did not expect such a person to appear in King Qin's mansion. Duan Lingtian was not even 100 years old, but his strength was comparable to a great overarching golden celestial. Moreover, he was widely acknowledged as the strongest person below a great overarching golden celestial in 9 Spectres County. Although the third prince and King Qin comforted Qin Yu was not stupid. He could vaguely guess the core elder of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect was here for Duan Lingtian. Although Qin Yu did not know why the sect leader of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect would send a core elder to kill Duan Lingtian, he could not help but worry about Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian, I hope you're safe now, but I also hope you won't show up at the martial competition of the 16 counties. Qin Yu thought to himself. Previously, he had hoped Duan Lingtian would show up. However, he did not want Duan Lingtian to show up at all. Now, I can only hope Duan Lingtian won't show up, the third prince sighed. Although I think highly of Duan Lingtian and hope he can stay in King Qin's mansion, since he's Yu's friend and the powerhouse from the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect seems to be here to kill him, I also hope he won't show up. King Qin said. Boom. Rumble. The ground trembled. Waves of rolling airwaves came from the battle arena in front of the VIP spectator seats outside the curtains. They slammed onto the battle arena, causing the battle arena to tremble. It also affected the surrounding spectator seats, causing the spectator seats to appear as though an intense earthquake had occurred. The commotion was caused by the two people who were fighting fiercely in the air above the battle arena. At this moment, Yang Jin, the trump card of Fair Mountain County, and Chu Yen, the trump card of Soaring Wind County, were fighting fiercely in the air above the battle arena. Both of them were evenly matched, and it would be difficult to determine the winner in a short time. At this moment, King Qin and the third prince looked at the sky above the battle arena in unison. Qin Yu was the only one who kept his head down with a frown on his face. He kept praying that Duan Lingtian would not show up. Qin Yu did this because Duan Lingtian was his only friend. He did not want anything to happen to Duan Lingtian. Apart from that, he did not care about anything else. It did not matter who won first place in the martial competition of the 16 counties between Yang Jin and Chu Yen. King Qin and the third prince also hoped that Duan Lingtian would be fine. However, Duan Lingtian was only their nephew's friend. Although he was their nephew's savior, if Duan Lingtian showed up and the powerhouse from the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect was targeting Duan Lingtian, there was nothing they could do. If the powerhouse from the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect was not targeting Duan Lingtian, they were not worried that Duan Lingtian would be in danger. For this reason, their attention was no longer on Duan Lingtian. At this moment, their attention was completely drawn over by Yang Jin and Chu Yen, who were fighting intensely in the air above the combat arena, and their gazes never left the two of them from the beginning. They all wanted to know who would be the first to defeat Yang Jin and Chu Yen and win first place in the martial competition of the 16 counties. I've long heard of Fair Mountain County's Yang Jin. He's quite strong and is a rare genius in Fair Mountain County. Now that I've met him in person, he really lives up to his reputation. The third prince sighed. Chu Yen is not bad as well. He and his father are very good at hiding their strength. Although I'm the master of King Qin's mansion, I've only heard of Chu Yu in the Soaring Wind County. I didn't know Chu Yen was even more talented than Chu Yu. King Qin said, "Big brother, who do you think will win?" The third prince asked. "I can't tell yet. However, based on the current situation, their combined strength is about the same. I'm afraid it depends on who's distracted first. If one of them gets distracted first, and the other takes advantage of the opening, they can completely attack the enemy in one go and defeat him." Qin Wang hit the nail on the head. "I think so too." The third prince nodded. Outside the veil. At this moment, the attention of the group of people in the spectator seats around the combat arena was also focused on the intense battle between Yang Jin and Chu Yen in the air above the combat arena. Yang Jin's strength is very strong. He lives up to his reputation. I've heard of Yang Jin's name before, but I didn't know his strength. Today, I've finally seen it for myself. If it weren't for Chu Yen and Duan Lingtian, Yang Jin would have undoubtedly won first place in the martial competition of the 16 counties. That's right. Who would have thought Chu Yen would be a trump card in Soaring Wind County apart from Chu Yu? It doesn't matter if Duan Lingtian is here or not. Soaring Wind County will take up 2 of the top 10 spots in the martial competition of the 16 counties. Moreover, they're brothers. This matter will definitely become a legend in the Soaring Wind County and even King Qin's mansion. County Governor Chu of Soaring Wind County has a pair of good sons and daughters. How enviable! A group of people discussed animatedly in the spectating area around the combat arena. Most of them were exclaiming about Chu Yen, the dark horse. At the same time, many of them were envious of Chu Tingxian, the county governor of Soaring Wind County, for having a pair of good sons and daughters. At this moment, Chu Tingxian, the county governor of Soaring Wind County, was sitting at the side of the audience as he watched the fierce battle in the air calmly. However, if one looked closely at his eyes, one would see that he was filled with pride. In the depths of his eyes, there was a deep sense of pride. He had a daughter like Chu Yu and a daughter like Chu Yen. What more could a father ask for? Revered Elder Tianling, who do you think will win this battle? Huang Guangji, the vice sect leader of Flying Dragon Sect, asked as he looked at the black-robed man standing nearby. The black-robed man was none other than revered Elder Tianling of Flying Dragon Sect. He was a primitive celestial alchemist who wore a celestial master's robe with the word Kun written on it. This primitive celestial alchemist was also the trump card of the 9 Spectres County that many people were talking about. Duan Lingtian. The 2 of them are evenly matched. It's hard to say who's going to win now. Duan Lingtian answered Huang Guangji's question in a hoarse voice. I agree. Huang Guangji nodded. Even if one of them wins in the end, it's probably because one of them is distracted. It's hard to say who will win now. However, before Huang Guangji could finish speaking, Duan Lingtian said, I think Chu Yen has a higher chance of winning. Chu Yen? The son of the county governor of Soaring Wind County? Huang Guangji asked in surprise when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. Revered Elder Tianling, why do you say that? After all, based on the current situation, it's hard to say who will win. This is just my personal judgment. The outcome might not necessarily match my judgment. Chapter 2688. Revered Elder Tianling, can you tell me why you came to such a conclusion? Huang Guangji was even more curious when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. He could not help but ask again. Because at this time, even if there were 100 or 1,000 people asking him, he would only say that Yang Jin and Chu Yen had a 50-50 chance of winning. It was almost impossible for him to come to the same conclusion as Duan Lingtian. For this reason, he was very curious. How did revered Elder Tianling, the primitive alchemist of the Flying Dragon Sect, come to such a conclusion? Faced with Huang Guangji's burning gaze that was filled with curiosity, Duan Tian narrowed his eyes and said unhurriedly, "This is because I feel that compared to Yang Jin, Chu Yen is definitely more composed. Even if one of them gets distracted and reveals a flaw, I still think that person will most likely be Yang Jin and not Chu Yen." "Why do you say that?" Huang Guangji's curiosity was piqued. He urged, "Revered Elder Tianling, don't keep me in suspense. Just tell me why you think so." "Yes, revered Elder Tianling, just tell me." "Revered Elder Tianling, I'd like to know why you think so as well." "Revered Elder Tianling." At some point, the people from the Flying Dragon sect who came with Huang Guangji and Duan Lingtian turned to look at Duan Lingtian curiously. Naturally, they were unaware that Duan Lingtian was dressed in a black robe. The black-robed man was the trump card of 9 Spectres County, who had been constantly mentioned since the beginning of the martial competition of the 16 counties. Duan Lingtian was not even 100 years old, but his strength was comparable to that of a great overarching golden celestial. They only knew that Duan Lingtian was a primitive celestial alchemist who was highly skilled in alchemy. Apart from the people from the Flying Dragon sect, even the people from other sects and clans who were close to the Flying Dragon sect had heard the conversation between Duan Lingtian and Huang Guangji. At this moment, many people were anticipating Duan Lingtian's next words. "Humph." Right at this moment, a cold snort sounded. It was a bearded man from a group of people not far away. He coldly glanced at the group of people from the Flying Dragon sect and said with disdain, deliberately mystifying things. "Right now, even His Excellency King Qin wouldn't dare to say that Chu Yen has a good chance of winning. What right does a primitive celestial alchemist have to say such words? I think you better go and refine your medicinal pills honestly. Stop trying to mystify and mislead others here." When the curly-bearded man finished speaking, his gaze that was filled with disdain and contempt landed on Duan Lingtian in a timely manner. "Zhouan, you actually dare to be rude to my Flying Dragon sect's consecrator Tianling? Is it you who intentionally provoked my Flying Dragon sect, or is it your Poison King sect who intentionally provoked my Flying Dragon sect?" As soon as the bearded man finished speaking, Huang Guangji was so angry that he stood up and glared at the bearded man, asking in a deep voice, "It's the Poison King sect's vice sect leader, Zhouan." At the same time, some people from the Flying Dragon sect also recognized the bearded man. The Poison King sect and the Flying Dragon sect have been rivals for hundreds of years. I didn't expect them to clash again after participating in the martial competition of the 16 counties. I thought they wouldn't dare to act recklessly in the martial competition of the 16 counties since King Qin's mansion is suppressing them. I didn't expect them to clash again. Although they've clashed, I'm sure they'll consider the consequences. After all, the martial competition of the 16 counties is held by King Qin's mansion. If they make a scene here, it'll embarrass King Qin's mansion. If they make King Qin's mansion uncomfortable, they won't have an easy time either. As the people from the other forces in the VIP spectator seats whispered to each other, they looked at the group from the Flying Dragon sect and then looked at the group from the Poison King sect. Do you think the Poison King sect is afraid of the Flying Dragon sect? Zhouan, the vice sect leader of the Poison King sect, stood up and stared at Huang Guangji. It was as though he was not worried about offending Huang Guangji, the vice sect leader of the Flying Dragon sect. Zhouan was also the leader of the group of people from the Poison King sect. The others were completely under his command. When they saw Zhouan standing up and staring at Huang Guangji, they glared at the people from the Flying Dragon sect with hostility. It was as though they were ready to fight the people from the Flying Dragon sect at any time. The Poison King sect? Duan Lingtian, who was covered in the Celestial Master's robe with the word Kun, was surprised. Although he had not been in the Flying Dragon sect for long, he had heard of the Poison King sect more than once. He knew the Poison King sect was a sect that specialized in poison. Naturally, most of the poisons from the Poison King sect were only effective against great overarching golden celestials. Only the most powerful poisons from the Poison King sect could threaten a great overarching golden celestial. About 100 years ago, the Flying Dragon sect and the Poison King sect had a fierce battle over a celestial stone vein. In the end, the two sects could not stop fighting and blood flowed like a river. Even one great overarching golden celestial from each sect had died. In the end, King Qin's mansion intervened and took the celestial stone vein. Only then did the two sects stop fighting. However, after that battle, the two sects became sworn enemies. As long as there was an opportunity to suppress the other party, they would not let it go. Just like now. You're the vice sect leader of the Poison King sect, right? While the people from the Flying Dragon sect and the Poison King sect were arguing, Duan Lingtian's voice rang in the air, breaking the silence between the two sections. Do you dare to make a bet with me? Duan Lingtian asked indifferently. Zhou, the vice sect leader of the Poison King sect, looked at Duan Lingtian when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. When he heard Duan Lingtian asking if he dared to make a bet with him, he was stunned. He could not react at all. Do you dare to make a bet with me? Duan Lingtian asked again. His tone was filled with provocation. What kind of bet? Zhou asked in a deep voice. His expression turned cold when he heard Duan Lingtian's provocation. Let's bet on whether Chu Yan will win or not. Duan Lingtian said. Without waiting for Zhou's reply, Duan Lingtian continued to say, Of course, I know you think Chu Yan has a 50% chance of winning. Therefore, I'll make a bet that's beneficial to you. If Yang Jin wins, I'll give you 100,000 prominent celestial stones. If Chu Yan wins, you'll only have to give me 50,000 prominent celestial stones. After Duan Lingtian bluntly made the bet, he continued to use a provocative tone and said in a hoarse voice, Vice sect leader Zhou, do you dare to accept this bet? Gasp, 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 gasp. As soon as Duan Lingtian finished speaking, the VIP spectators gasped in unison. Many of them were shocked. Moments later, is this primitive celestial alchemist from the Flying Dragon sect out of his mind? How could he make such a bet? This bet is unfair to him, right? Currently, Yang Jin and Chu Yan are evenly matched. Based on the current situation, the chances of them winning are 50%. Of course, it's also possible that they'll end up in a draw. The martial competition of the 16 counties doesn't allow for a draw, right? I almost forgot about this. It's said that if there's no winner after an hour, the host of the martial competition of the 16 counties will exert pressure on them and force them to duel. They'll definitely have to deal with the pressure. At this time, even if they're facing the same pressure, they'll have to deal with it differently. It won't be difficult to determine the winner. In the VIP spectator seats, the group of people who had gradually regained their senses began to whisper again. Based on their words, most of them felt it was unfair for Duan Lingtian to make such a bet. 100,000 prominent celestial stones? Zhou, who had just regained his senses, looked at Duan Lingtian eagerly and asked in a deep voice, Are you serious? If Yang Jin wins, you'll give me 100,000 prominent celestial stones? Duan Lingtian replied indifferently, However, if Chu Yan wins, you'll have to give me 50,000 prominent celestial stones as well. What do you think? This bet? Do you dare to accept it? Duan Lingtian asked again. Revered Elder Tianling, Huang Guangji, the vice sect leader of the Flying Dragon sect, turned to look at Duan Lingtian with a frown on his face. He could not help but ask through voice transmission, Are you confident? I'm not 100% confident, Duan Lingtian replied through voice transmission. Huang Guangji's expression darkened immediately. Then why did you bet with Zhou? However, I'm 90% confident that I'll win. Duan Lingtian interrupted Huang Guangji through voice transmission again. Huang Guangji was rendered speechless. He felt as though he had risen from hell to heaven in just a blink of an eye. 90%. His confidence was not low at all. Don't tell me this revered elder of the Flying Dragon sect can tell Chu Yan has a higher chance of winning? Otherwise, why would he dare to make such a bet? After all, if Yang Jin and Chu Yan have a 50% chance of winning, he'll be at a disadvantage. That's right. He's betting 100,000 prominent celestial stones against Zhou, the vice sect leader of the Poison King sect, for 50,000 prominent celestial stones. I really don't know what he's thinking. Even if he's giving away celestial stones, he shouldn't be giving it away like this. Maybe he's just a blind cat that bumps into a dead mouse and Chu Yen wins. Like you said, it's just a blind cat that bumps into a dead mouse? What if Yang Jin wins? The commotion in the VIP seats quickly spread to the back of the hall and attracted the attention of King Qin and the third prince of King Qin's mansion. That primitive celestial alchemist from the Flying Dragon sect. Interesting. The third prince smiled. I wonder how he saw Chu Yen has a higher chance of winning. Chapter 2689. I think it's just as Zhouan said. The primitive celestial alchemist from the Flying Dragon sect is just bluffing. The third prince said with a smile. I don't think so. He sounded very confident when he made the bet. King Qin said, All right, I Zhouan will accept the bet you've made. At the same time, King Qin and the third prince heard the voice from outside. It was none other than Zhouan, the vice sect leader of the Poison King sect. As soon as he opened his mouth, he immediately agreed to the unfair bet that Duan Ling Tian had made. However, are you sure you won't go back on your word after you lose? Zhouan said. It was clear he did not trust Duan Ling Tian. Don't worry. 100,000 prominent celestial stones is nothing to me. However, I'm worried you'll go back on your word. Duan Ling Tian feigned a hoarse voice, and his tone was filled with doubt. Nonsense. I'm the vice sect leader of the Poison King sect. Why would I go back on my word? Zhouan said angrily. Who knows? Duan Ling Tian continued to speak in a hoarse voice. Since you don't trust each other and want to bet, I'll be the middleman. When the third prince spoke with a loud voice, he also stood up and left his luxurious seat. Then he passed through the curtain and appeared in the VIP seats. Third prince. Greetings, third prince. The people in the VIP seats immediately took the initiative to greet the third prince. After all, apart from being King Qin's younger brother, he was also one of the few peak great overarching golden celestials in King Qin's mansion. In King Qin's mansion, the third prince's strength was second only to King Qin's. Because of this, he was almost always King Qin's spokesperson. Even this time, King Qin had asked him to host the martial competition of the 16 counties. What do you think? If you trust me, I'll be the middleman and collect your bets. After the winner is decided, I'll give the bets to the winner. The third prince soon arrived near the people from the Flying Dragon sect and the Poison King sect. Of course, I trust you, third prince. Zhouan was slightly fearful when he saw the third prince was attracted by the bet between him and the primitive celestial alchemist from the Flying Dragon sect. At the same time, he took out an empty spatial ring and placed 50,000 prominent celestial stones in it before handing it to the third prince. With you as the middleman, I'm not afraid he'll go back on his word, Duan Ling Tian said in a hoarse voice. At the same time, he took out a spatial ring that contained 100,000 prominent celestial stones and handed it to the third prince. The third marquis checked the 2 storage rings and nodded. Not bad, the numbers are correct. However, after putting away the 2 spatial rings, the third prince turned to look at Duan Ling Tian, who was clad in the celestial master's robe with the word Kun on it. He asked with a smile, You seem to be a revered elder of the Flying Dragon sect? Can you tell me why you think so highly of Chu Yen? I heard a little of what you said just now. You seem to have said that you felt that compared to Yang Jin, Chu Yen would definitely be more composed. Even if one of them would be distracted first and reveal a flaw, you also felt that that person would most likely be Yang Jin and not Chu Yen? I wonder, why do you think Yang Jin will be distracted and reveal a flaw? The third prince asked. As soon as the third prince finished speaking, everyone in the VIP spectating area shifted their attention to Duan Ling Tian in unison. Even Zhouan, the vice sect leader of the Poison King sect, was no exception. It was also because the other spectator seats around the combat arena were very far away from the VIP spectator seats. Coupled with the fact that the attention of the people in the other spectator seats was focused on Yang Jin and Chu Yen, who were fighting fiercely in the air above the combat arena, the other people did not notice the abnormality in the VIP spectator seats. Actually, I'm just guessing. Duan Lingtian answered the third prince's question with a hoarse voice. I just think that Chu Yen was able to conceal his strength until the martial competition of the 16 counties was held in King Qin's mansion. Then, he revealed his innate talent and strength to the world and even became the dark horse in the martial competition of the 16 counties today. Just this matter alone is enough to show that Chu Yen is an extremely calm person. At this moment, Duan Lingtian did not conceal his thoughts and directly spoke of his inner thoughts and judgment. You have a point. After listening to Duan Lingtian's words, the third prince was stunned for a moment. After a while, he regained his senses and nodded. He felt that Duan Lingtian's words were irrefutable. Based on Yang Jin and Chu Yan's experiences, it was true that Chu Yen was more composed. Of course, this was not enough to prove that Yang Jin was an impatient person. After the third prince, Zhou En, the vice sect leader of the Poison King sect who made a bet with Duan Lingtian, regained his senses as well. After he regained his senses, he burst out laughing. After a while, he realized that the third prince of King Qin's mansion was right in front of him, so he quickly stopped laughing. However, when he looked at Duan Lingtian again, his eyes were filled with mockery. Although what you said makes sense, why do you think Yang Jin would lose his cool first? After all, Yang Jin's opponent is Chu Yen, whose strength is on par with his. If it were anyone else, they would definitely go all out and be careful. They would definitely not lose their cool first. In Zhou An's opinion, although Duan Lingtian's words made sense, it was not enough to prove that Chu Yen would be able to defeat Yang Jin. After all, Yang Jin was not someone easy to deal with. The other people in the VIP seats felt the same way as well. For this reason, they were slightly disappointed when they heard Duan Lingtian's words. They thought Duan Lingtian would come up with a reason that would convince them. However, they did not expect Duan Lingtian to come up with a reason that made sense. Revered Elder Tianling, you're too rash. Huang Guangji, the vice sect leader of the Flying Dragon sect, said to Duan Lingtian through voice transmission with a wry smile on his face. In his opinion, although what Duan Lingtian said made sense, it was not enough to determine the final outcome of this battle. At most, the outcome of the battle between Chu Yen and Yang Jin would be 50-50, and Chu Yan's chances of winning would still be less than 90%. He could not figure it out. How could revered Elder Tianling be so confident? Upon hearing Huang Guangji's words, Duan Lingtian did not explain himself. He merely replied through voice transmission, Vice Sect Leader Huang, just wait and see. In any case, even if I lose, I won't lose the sect's prominent celestial stones. That's not what I meant. Huang Guangji smiled wryly again. Meanwhile, the third prince of King Qin's mansion returned to his seat. I thought the primitive celestial alchemist from the Flying Dragon sect would come up with something that would convince me. I didn't expect him to come up with something that doesn't sound like nonsense at all. It's not worth it for him to use 100,000 prominent celestial stones to bet 50,000 prominent celestial stones on Zhou En, the vice sect leader of the Poison King sect. The third prince shook his head as he sat next to King Qin. His voice was filled with hope. That might not be the case. However, King Qin did not take the third prince's words seriously. HM? What do you mean, big brother? The third prince looked at King Qin curiously. There's a 90% chance Yang Jin will lose. King Qin said. 90%? The third prince's eyes widened slightly. Even after Duan Lingtian's words, he only thought Chu Yen had a 60% chance of winning. However, his big brother had said Chu Yen had a 90% chance of winning. If Chu Yen really had a 90% chance of winning, it would be worth it even if he had to bet 200,000 prominent celestial stones on 50,000 prominent celestial stones, let alone 100,000 prominent celestial stones. Why do you think so, big brother? The third prince asked. At the same time, Qin Yu, who was originally not very interested in the conflict and the bet taking place outside, cannot help looking at Qin Wang. He is curious as to why this big uncle of his said that Yang Jin, the trump card of Fair Mountain County, had a 90% chance of losing. If the primitive celestial alchemist from the Flying Dragon sect didn't mention that, I would also think Chu Yen and Yang Jin would have a 50% chance of winning. King Qin sighed. Under Qin Yu's and the third prince's curious gazes, King Qin continued to say, I've been observing Yang Jin's battles. Indeed, compared to Chu Yen, he's much more impatient. Naturally, since his opponents are much weaker than him, it's not obvious that he's impatient. That's why I didn't think about it. I suspect that the primitive celestial alchemist from the Flying Dragon sect must have noticed Yang Jin's impatience during his battles. As he spoke, King Qin's gaze pierced through the curtains and landed on the black figure in the VIP seating area. His gaze lingered there for a long time. I see. I didn't notice this before. If I had noticed this, I would have been certain Yang Jin is no match for Chu Yen. After listening to King Qin's words, the third prince finally understood why King Qin said Yang Jin had a 90% chance of losing. However, even I didn't notice it. How did the primitive celestial alchemist from the Flying Dragon sect see it? Could it be that his strength is stronger than mine? The third prince said in disbelief. You don't have to be strong to notice it. Even a yellow-rank great overarching golden celestial would be able to notice it. King Qin said, the primitive celestial alchemist from the Flying Dragon sect is not simple. In the end, Qin Wang gave this evaluation. Soon enough, an hour had passed. Chu Yen and Yang Jin were still locked in a stalemate. Both of you should be careful. I'm going to put more pressure on you now. The voice of the host of the martial competition of the 16 counties rang in the air, shocking everyone present. The arrival of this moment meant that you're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.